Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers 110. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Ruuts. How are you doing this fine Sunday afternoon, friend?
Good. Everything's running smooth. We actually, I don't didn't have any much technical issues. So I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I can't complain, sir. I'm here. I've got a laundry list of things to talk about today. We've pumped it up the last couple of weeks. Summertime is coming. The summer gaming season is coming. Roots, this week, I think it's safe to say that it's here.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was just looking and seeing. Mepper says for once he got here before the show started. Mepper, I'm excited. You get to be here for the full thing, bro. Yeah, yeah. No, everything's blowing up. It seems like right. There's all sorts of stuff going on.
Yeah, we had well, I mean, it's E3 week. I know you guys might remember way back when there used to be this thing called E3. Well, where they're having it this year. I don't know if they're actually having it in a physical space. I think it's most likely mostly digital events. But we had Ubisoft go off with their digital presentation last week. We had the Summer Game Fest, Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest gave their presentation last week. I think Xbox/Bethesda giving theirs today. It might even be going on right now. And then of course we had the Upload VR showcase, which, by the way, thank God for the Upload showcase, or else we would have had no VR news. Like all this other stuff, not really any VR news coming out of anywhere other than Upload VR this week.
I did like that open world bicycle game coming from Ubisoft. I guess not just bicycle, snowboarding, skateboarding. I don't know if you saw the trailer I posted in the thing. It just looked cool, and I looked at it through a VR standpoint. And I was like, "Oh my god, can you imagine if you were going down these? I mean, those trails that the people were on the bicycle trails. What intrigues me about something like that is I would never do that in real life. Like the thought of hitting a rock and flipping forward, breaking my arm, or who knows what. I'm just not going to do it. But in VR, that's what I want to do. I want to play something like that in virtual reality. So maybe maybe it'll come as well. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the way I look at pretty much all games these days, right? If it's not a VR game, I'm looking at it through the prism of what if it were VR, and so I can relate there. And as far as like the bike paths and stuff, man, I can relate with that. I know late last year when the Nvidia 3000 series released, Gamers Nexus did a video talking about some issues with the 3080s that launched, some technical issues, but they made the video from their bicycle. They like
Hmm.
mounted their camera or whatever and went down these bike paths at like breakneck speeds. And all I could think to myself was, man, I would break my neck if I tried to play that, or break my leg at least. Yeah, I understand, and I can certainly see the value of this type of game in VR. I think it would be a blast.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, the Ubisoft needs to get on it. But you're right. Most of everything I saw was all flat stuff, right? With the exception of, like you said, upload stuff. So,
Right, right. And then Scion VR chat says the Upload VR recycled news showcase. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Now, to call it recycled news, I mean, honestly, is a bit of a stretch. But I got to say, I was expecting more new game reveals than what they came with. So now again, you know, are my expectations uploads fault? No, not really. This is kind of a repeated cycle in our space where, you know, speculation becomes expectation, expectation becomes disappointment. And I kind of feel like I had a little bit of that this past weekend with Upload VR. Lots of cool games, lots of cool new footage of games that we've been looking forward to. Not a lot of new surprising reveals, and I'd be lying to say if when I'm walking away from it, I wasn't just a little bit disappointed.
you were hoping for some big news, right? Some dates. Like, when are we getting the games, dude? When's after the fall? When, I mean, I don't know, man. I just want, I want things to progress. I guess we're on kind of like Christmas Eve, right? Like we're ready to go to
Right.
bed and wake up in the morning and open our gifts. that's how close it is. We just have one more night to get through. Now that night might be weeks, month, I don't know. But we should all of a sudden stuff's going to start dropping, and it's that expectation, I guess, that you just kind of you were hoping that that itch was finally going to be scratched, and they're everybody's holding it to their chest, Wes. And unless Oculus comes out at their own event, I don't know what's happening. I don't know, man. What's going on, bro? I did find my
Well,
cup
here's the
though. I found my cup. That was good news.
awesome. No,
Mm.
I initially when they started promoting the upload showcase, my expectations very much were in check. I mean, we even talked about it on the show last week. Like maybe we shouldn't expect the biggest things in the world because Oculus tends to release their own stuff. Sony tends to release their own stuff. So, I mean, while there's going to be cool stuff on the upload showcase, it's not going to be like Splinter Cell or anything, right? But a few days ago, Oculus promoted the Upload VR showcase on their blog. They said that people should tune in to learn more about the titles that are coming to Oculus Quest and Rift platforms on in the next year. And when I read that, I thought, wow, maybe this might be something a little bigger than I expected. Nope, not at all. That being said, after I got over the initial disappointment of not having any new game reveals, looking back at it, putting today's show together, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff on here. Again, stuff we already knew about, but cool stuff nonetheless.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, people talking about Larcenauts in the chat. They're saying Eddie C is saying there's no manual reload and no dual wielding, but it's on the roadmap. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things that are going to not be there for day one. I just, for the love of God, let there be smooth turn on day one. But at least it's there. It's on the roadmap, and that means it's coming. It's just a matter of how long, right? So
Yeah, yeah. Impulse Gear represented during the upload showcase. They did show a rather nice looking roadmap, some good plans for what already looks to be a solid game. Now, with that said, they also revealed a trailer, uh, which showcased one of their characters. And I think it was named Bod or something like that. And I gotta be honest, man. I don't think I've ever seen a less inspiring hype piece than this. Like out of all the characters that Larcenauts has to offer, I think this character would probably be the last one I would pick.
well, you never know. There's sometimes you get a character like it seems like that, but for whatever reason, it's got like this amazing ability that everybody needs, and it just fits that slot. Someone will like it, right? But I don't know. I
Yeah.
guess I know that a lot of people were. I saw a lot of people saying that if Upload keeps doing things like this, they're gonna lose their credibility. What do you think? Do you think that's a valid point or no?
I think you know, let me preface this before people misunderstand what I'm saying. I think that Upload VR is the premier news organization in our industry today. With that said, I think that they've lost a lot of their credibility a long time ago. The way that they flip flop on certain things, like PlayStation VR being one of them. The way they pretty much single handedly caused the casual community, the casual VR community, to prematurely herald the death of Sony VR. And then the minute any evidence comes to the contrary, that they're like the biggest cheerleader now for PlayStation VR. So I think that they flip flop quite a bit, and their credibility is something yet to be well, it's lacking. We'll just say that. And besides that, though, um, sometimes I do great work, and I think that if you like this show, our Sunday show, week in week out, 50% plus of what we're doing here is stuff that I'm getting from Upload VR. So, I mean, from that perspective, I think we owe them a debt of gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, so, Larcenauts with notwithstanding, we saw some other stuff too. I mean, after the fall, we got another preview piece for After the Fall where they focused on co-op, cross-platform, and replayability. A lot of new footage. They keep giving us new footage of this game, Roots, and the more I see of it, the more excited I get about it.
Yeah, somebody was telling the Discord was telling me, or maybe it was Mash, that this game is I'm gonna love it. So I'm hoping he's right. It looks cool. I want to play it, and then we don't have to wait that long, right?
It looks like, let's be honest, man. It looks like they took what I loved about Arizona Sunshine and then expanded it, put it on steroids times 100. Like they're giving us another arcade style shooter, which is story driven, but this game is completely built around the co-op experience. Like I'm sure you could play it single player, but this game is not meant to be played single player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like unlike Arizona Sunshine, like I could play Arizona Sunshine right now with my eyes closed and know what enemies are coming from where, right? Not going to be the case with After the Fall. Different enemies are going to spawn into the map every time you play. It's all procedural. So the map isn't. The map is a set thing, but the enemy sets like uh one time you'll go through playing with your friends and you might have to deal with a horde of the smaller enemies, but then the next time you play through it you might have to deal with some of the larger, more difficult to deal with enemies. That they focused on replayability and co-op, and that was largely what they focused on during the showcase this week.
And we finally got our fast running zombies hordes, right? And I've said that we wanted to, like, one or two zombies or three or four even, doesn't really get that fear. Like I would imagine seeing a dozen of them coming at you at a very fast rate, and from all directions. So I think it's going to be amazing. And I mean, if we can take anything, it's not like you look at it and you're like, ooh, I mean, it looks amazing, but we have no idea what to expect. We know a lot to what to expect from, like you said, Arizona Sunshine, plus the last 5 years of learning what they've learned in the industry, right? And I think it's gonna be like it's gonna blow us away.
Yeah, I agree. Sniper Elite VR, you know, we got some new footage of it last week, and people were kind of, "Where's the X-ray kill cam? Where's the X-ray kill cam?" Well, during the Upload VR showcase, they did not disappoint. They came heavy with the footage of the X-ray kill cam,
Oh, well, that's good.
and it was actually I had a LOL moment there with I think it was maybe Cash and Sherry that was talking about it. I'm not sure. Or no, or I think maybe it was the co-host, the Upload VR co-host. She's talked about using the X-ray kill cam to shoot the enemies in the other head Roots.
You know who
Put
would
it.
be pissed off if you did that?
My
She
mom!
doesn't like that. You need to keep it safe down there.
We had a quick peek at the current state of Against the or as they like to call it in Canada, Against the upcoming noir rhythm action game from Joyway. Roots. The more I see of Against, the more excited I am to give it a try. And I'm not really a rhythm game guy, dude, but I'm excited for this one. I think it looks awesome.
Yeah, well, if you give Pistol Whip a try, it's definitely this is going to be it's the opposite of shooting. Now you're slashing to the rhythm, right? It does look good. It looks like everybody's responses about how amazing it is. It keeps tempting me, Wes, to go in and try the demo, but I want to go in fresh when it comes out, right? So I'm just going to hold off until it drops, and at least the early access, if that's what they're releasing in, and check it out.
Yeah, well, I know that this game is in active development and they're making strides on it on a daily basis. So that's kind of my reason for avoiding it right now, because I know that it's very likely that its current state isn't anything like what the final state of the game is going to be like. So, I can be patient, but I really got to say, I love the vibe of the game. I love the parkour elements that they're implementing into it, and I love the fact that you have to be defensive in it. It's not just all offensive. You have to be defensive. You have to do it on rhythm, which is something I've been asking for since the onset of the rhythm action genre.
Yeah, Absolutely. Mash Daddy says, "Thanks for waiting for my conference call." He threw some he's bribing us $5. I told him we'd wait to start the show. Although we didn't wait, but you did get here within like what? It's only been started for 15 minutes. So I guess you pretty much did catch it, bro. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for the support, Eric. And my background today, Roots, is in honor of Eric as he
Oh.
has finally begun his long overdue journey in the PlayStation VR. And he tried Farpoint out for the first time yesterday. And just like everybody else who gives it a fair shot, it's already squarely in his top 5 VR games all time, where it deserves to be.
Oh, it's a 5-year-old headset, bro. I'm just kidding. Yeah, he was telling me he was raving about how good. He said he's gotten to a pretty close to the end. I won't even say what's. There's a lot of stuff going on that's pretty advanced in the story, and he did it almost all in one sitting. And the only reason why he stopped was because it was 2 a.m. And I'm sure his wife was like, "You need to come to bed." So he's gonna finish it off, I would imagine today.
Yeah. So with that said, I think that he is probably beyond the point that I wanted him to be at to do some co-op. So just hit me up whenever you want to do some of the co-op maps, and we can do it. Diz the game cat in the chat says that new trailer for Against was weak AF. Um, I liked it. Now my problem with it is that it was short. But what they showed, I enjoyed. I liked it. Yeah, I guess they more focused on, the art of the game and stuff, but I thought it was cool looking. Uh, we had a few of these trailers that were cool but short, and I think that was kind of the problem with the Against trailers, that it was a bit short.
Yeah, well, we're not that far away from it coming out, I would imagine. So you'll get to see it soon in its fullness, right?
Yeah. Now, speaking of Pistol Whip, we knew that we'd be seeing more from Pistol Whip during the Upload VR showcase. I was expecting to see more of Smoke and Thunder Roots, but that's not what they gave us. Instead, they did a highlight piece on their new customization mode. I forget what it's called, of course, because I don't have it right here in front of me. But Pistol Whip's becoming fully customizable, and that goes for every level, every modifier. They're adding a bunch of new modifiers in, including bullet hell. You can implement it and turn Pistol Whip into a bullet hell game. Well, I don't know who in the hell would ever want to do that, but it's an option now. But I like it, Roots. I like that it's 100% fully customizable to your taste now. And the cool thing about it is that pretty much each of these new builds that they're making has its own leaderboard. So, like, no matter what set of modifiers and what level you're using, it'll get its own name and its own leaderboard.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's becoming a no-brainer game to own, right? Like even if you thought it was cool before, it's even better now. Can you imagine playing that bullet hell mode in like a really huge space, like a warehouse or something, to where you felt knew you could run around and not smash into stuff? I bet it would be really cool in that respect too, and it wouldn't be as bad on your knees. Because that's the
It'd
problem
be
is like
cool.
you end up not wanting to move around left or right because you want to, so you duck up and down, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I do move around a little bit, but the problem with it is even if you add space, like they have a bubble that they put you in, and if you step outside that bubble, it's kind of like Vader Immortal, the first episode.
Hmm.
The whole game stops and tells you to get back in your spot.
Oh, I've never done that.
I've done it a bunch of times.
Oh God.
But anyway, I said it on the Discord yesterday. I think Pistol Whip's finally maturing as a game into what it always could have been, right? Not only with the customizable uh, uh, options that you have, not only with the new overhaul to the UI, which looks absolutely beautiful, but with with regards to these story campaigns that they keep coming out with, which is by far my favorite part of Pistol Whip. I think that Pistol Whip's really coming into its own, and I could see them supporting it for a long time. Which I mean, on one hand, is pretty awesome, but on the other hand, I want my Gallery 3, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully it comes. What if it never gets made, dude? That would suck, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it'll come one day. But I think that I think that when it does, it's going to be largely because it's something that they want to do from a personal perspective. I think by that point they will have made their money, and they can afford to put a game out that's a passion project, and maybe uh, maybe a little risky in terms of whether or not it'll blow up the way the Pistol Whip did.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is now that they've seen what type of game is so successful, maybe they just veer that direction, right? We just never know.
Right?
Which I mean, it's good for them. It's good for us. We like the game. Uh,
Yeah. We also got a couple. Look at a couple of awesome upcoming VR survival titles, being Green Hell VR, as well as Song in the Smoke, which was revealed during the Sony event a couple months ago. I gotta say, Roots, while survival isn't my jam most of the time, both of these games, the PC versions, mind you, of both of these games are looking absolutely beautiful. And I think both games are going to have Quest versions as well.
hmm.
I know Green Hell is for sure, but it was cool. They had somebody from our friends over at Incuvo on to kind of introduce the Green Hell segment, and they said that they had two completely separate teams work on the PC version versus the Quest version. So like, uh, they treated it like two different games completely, which is cool. I mean, I'm sure that the PC players are going to love to hear that.
Yeah, well, especially Scion specifically. So you're excited. So do you think there's going to be a chance I'll get to set you on fire in Green Hell?
It's possible. It's possible. I
uh,
know that that wound they keep showing looks like it's going to get infected if they don't do something with it, bro.
oh
So
god, they better get it fixed, bro. I don't know
all
that
sorts of problems that take place in these games.
in the Green Hell. Well, yeah. So Reddit Reality says Green Hell should be good. It does look really good, actually.
Yeah, it looks awesome. I'd be lying if I didn't say that I'm probably a bit more excited for Song in the Smoke. And really, what they did with Song in the Smoke here, they did like a 9-minute piece of basically just the creator of the game talking about the game, his inspiration for it, and his goals for it. And just to hear this guy talk and how passionate he was about the game, and not only the game, but VR as a platform, I really identified with a lot of what he was saying. And it made me even more excited to try his game out. So, if nothing else, I want to support that guy. He's living his dream, man, and he's going for it, and he's bringing his game into VR for a lot of the same reasons that we love to play games in VR.
Yeah, I think that's happening more and more for sure. So,
Uh, anyway, those were a few of the things that we got from the upload showcase. There was a lot more that they revealed, some of which we're going to be talking about not only during our gaming news segment as well as headlines today. Uh, I don't want to do the whole upload thing in the intro, but overall, Roots, what were your impressions? Were you excited? Were you a bit disappointed? How did you feel coming out of the upload showcase?
I was. I mean, pretty much the same. I my thing is everybody gets so riled up about these things and so psyched, and they got to watch. I do not want to have to watch it live. I'd rather somebody else spend their time watching it live and then tell me what was worth watching. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I told them in the Discord when we were playing. I said, I get my news from Wes, bro. Okay. You know what I mean? But I did see what everybody was talking about in the Discord, but I wasn't expecting too much. I was hoping for more news, like you were saying. But for the most part, it's there was not too much that was that surprising to me.
Yeah, it was a hype piece. It was a hype piece for stuff that we already knew was coming, and it was effective on that front. But it wasn't OC7, bro. You know what I mean? It was Upload VR Showcase, and I enjoyed it overall, even though I did come away a little bit underwhelmed.
Yeah, you wanted a lot more news, and but there was some interesting stuff though. So
Yeah. some interesting stuff, some great games. I mean, it's I don't know what our problem is, Roots. It's not like we don't have enough stuff coming already. It's like there's already too much to cover, and we're all disappointed that there wasn't more.
Yeah, well, we want, like Cyan said in the beginning of the chat when we first started this episode. He said he wants Lone Echo 2, right? And everybody's got a game they've been waiting on that they want some kind of news out there. You know, I was expecting a little bit of Jesus Radar to pop out of nowhere, getting released on Friday, but didn't happen. So
Beasts shall rise,
yeah,
Roots. As soon as we went off the air that day, it popped right in my head like it always does.
Be-
Beasts shall rise.
Beast shall rise. I should start calling it that. But yeah, so
Anyway, loads to talk about today. We don't want to dilly dally. Uh, we've got what I think 6 awesome games to talk about in the gaming news segment, and you know, our experiment from last week with the brand new headline segment. I liked it. A lot of people liked it, and I think it's a keeper, Root. So we're going to continue to do the headlines today and going forward, as long as people are digging it.
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, you know, before we dig into any of that, let's start off the way we always do by saying hello to our friends in chat. And Onakazi is in the chat. Um, and I think he's talking about Resident Evil 4. People were hoping that maybe we'd get some RE4 footage. That was kind of my hope too when I saw Oculus plugging it. I thought we might get a little bit more. But Onakazi says there's still a chance it gets mentioned during the Capcom stream, which has yet to take place at E3. So fingers crossed on that front.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully people will be able to see. You know, I still see it, Wes. People saying, "Man, the footage looks like crap," and then I always respond the same way. Oh, you mean the alpha footage from a year and a half ago? Like, what do you expect? Yeah, dude, show me everybody's alpha footage from any game, and I'll tell you it probably looks like crap until they refine it, right?
I'll say this too: a lot of people who are saying disparaging things about it are typically people who don't have a Quest.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true, man. I mean, I got to downplay all those 3080 people. You know, I don't need a 3080. It sucks, dude.
Mash Daddy Cool in chat says Fracked looked awesome. It was my show favorite. Mine as well, and that's kind of the reason we didn't talk about it in the intro, because it's one of the titles we're gonna dig into here in just a few minutes. Mepper, pie beats cake every time, he says. I have to take issue with that, friend. I'm more of a cake guy myself. Wolveraza, crap, I missed the start. Been busy day. Hey, dude, at least you made it here at pretty much the beginning of the show. We're still in the intro. We're saying hello to chat. Kudos, by the way, on your first offering to YouTube. Everybody, if you're a member of the Discord, be sure to check out Wolvie's video he just put up. It's super cool. And yeah, thanks for stopping by.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's see who else. PD in the chat says, you know who else has stuff coming?
My mom.
Oh yeah, she does. She likes cheesecake too.
Lipnox VR says he's hanging out for a little while before he goes to watch the PC show, whatever that is. This is the PC show, bro. It's also the PlayStation show and the Quest show. You're in luck. We got some. We're going to be talking about some PC games before we check out today, and some really cool ones at that.
Yeah, I'm still feeling the grind though on the PC, man. All the news for everything that's exclusive is going to Quest. You know what I mean? Like I'm watching the beginning of these videos, and it just there's just you could feel the push, man. PC's getting squeezed. Doesn't mean it's disappearing, but they're definitely seeing a lull for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's nature. That's how it goes. It's cyclical, and they'll have their day again. But that doesn't mean there's not cool titles coming for PC, because there absolutely is. And again, we're going to be talking about a couple of those a little bit later. Traveling Man 3775. We need more innovative genres. Well, that's kind of the cool thing where VR is still kind of a new thing. Old genres become new again, and just bringing some of these older style games into VR is innovation in itself sometimes.
Yeah.
Rendered reality. Our friends again joining the chat saying happy Sunday. Green Hell should be good. Happy Sunday to you too. And thanks for stopping by and
And,
saying hello.
and I've got my coffee, and just to feel like I'm part of your show, coffee and VR.
Space Denizen, that new pistol whip update looks fun. Dude, it looks like it'll be whatever you want to make it, right? Pretty much whatever you want to make that game now. They have new weapons, they have new modifiers, and they have all the old stuff too, and all the old levels. You can mash it up any way that you want.
Which game?
Pistol whip.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Let's see here. Gamertag VR joining the chat. Hello, GT. Hack the Game Cat stopping by and saying hello. Hello, Hack. Anyway, I guess we need to get on with it here, Roots. So just thanks for everybody for stopping by. And I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I guess this would be a great opportunity to switch over from top chat to live chat because the top chat is not the top chat, it's the shit chat. So I
Who
want to see
doesn't love
everybody,
Top
Roots.
Chat, man? Top Chat is the best. I don't even know what Top Chat really is. Like, do we need a Top Chat? Wouldn't you just want to know as things are coming up? This is what it's weird that that's the option they focus on. I don't like it.
See, as soon as I go from top chat to live chat, now I can see Chris Richardson. Apparently, Chris Richardson isn't among the top chatters.
You're not top enough, bro.
You're not. Yeah, you need to get some top, man.
Yeah, I don't know how you get top, but
see, Hussein X is here. I didn't even have any idea Hussein X was here, Roots. YouTube needs to check their algorithm, bro.
yeah. I knew they were here. I had it on top or live chat, but that's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what they did to lose their top status, but we've got it all fixed now.
Yeah, I got Cheech and Chong back. When you see the smoke rising behind me, that's what's going on back there.
Colorado time, bro.
Yeah, Colorado time.
Anyway, let's hop in. For those of you who didn't watch the show next week, we led into the news with a new segment called Headlines. And we're going to do the same thing this week and every week going forward. The concept behind headlines is there's always so much news that gets left out of the show, in the interest of time. We already go longer than I'd like to go week in and week out. And that's even with us cutting stuff out. But I'd love to be able to cover it all. So the idea behind headlines is I've picked 10 stories here, and instead of doing my normal thorough deep dive in the notes and having a thoughtful discussion about these items, we're going to read the headline. I'm going to give a thought. Roots is going to give a thought, and we're going to go on to the next one. And this will be a way for us to quickly cover some of the topics that didn't make the cut this week, and have fun talking about VR. I enjoyed doing the headlines last week, and I think you were saying that a lot of the people you talked to enjoyed watching it as well.
Yeah, Radio Runt really liked it. So he's the connoisseur of the virtual strangers. So I guess this is what Lipnox is saying, is that top chat, if you're watching a big event with like thousands in chat, that if you don't have top chat, then all you see is spam. And so it's more for that. But my question is why, how many thousands of people have thousands of people watching? It should default to live chat for the smaller communities like us that aren't having thousands of people watching us. You would think.
Zaylin Maru joining the chat. Hello. Thanks for stopping by. And Lipnox VR said headlines is definitely great. I agree. I enjoy doing it. And until it starts to suck, it's going to be a permanent fixture here on the Sunday show.
Yep.
So with that said, let's kick it off with the first headline. Facebook acquires Population 1 developer Big Box VR. And I think when I see this, Roots, what pops to my mind is it's starting to become obvious what Facebook's content strategy is, right? Find an indie
Mm.
developer who made a good game that's popular among today's VR crowd, and just buy them, bro.
Smart. You know what I mean? Like you're buying up talent, right? And you're not only buying up talent, you're keeping them from going to the competitors, and you're creating enough. If you pick up enough of these amazing companies and they do sequels or whatever, you can, I mean, Population One is on every headset, but maybe the next game they put out isn't. Maybe it's a Quest only, right? Quest, you can't play it on any of the other headsets. I don't know, man. It's funny because we actually said this when we were talking in our segment. I don't know how long ago it was, on whatever. I think they had picked up maybe Asgard's Wrath, or we were saying what would be another company, and we said this was no brainer, right? Population One, big box would be one that anybody should pick up quick. And if it wasn't going to be Oculus, it very well could have been Sony, because they do the same stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like not only are they picking up these talented developers, but they're also picking up these IPs, which I think is an important thing. If you're planning on building upon your consumer base, it's good to own these popular IPs, because now you get to go with the sequels and make them exclusive, right?
Yeah, yeah, and everything is. I mean, Oculus, Facebook, they're really good at making it seem like they're playing nice with everybody, like we were saying recently about their app lab, and how it's designed, we think, to where to not find anything. You can't find anything unless you go to their website. If you're trying to do it through Oculus, it's just a nightmare. And that's just one instance of how they're trying to slowly curate this um ecosystem that's just has everybody out. I mean, there's benefits, there's good and bad to it, right? I mean, as long as you got the headset and you're in, it's awesome. If you're on the outside looking in, it kind of sucks. So,
Yeah, Scion VR has the idea in chat. He says, "Okay, I guess now I hate Pop One." Is a joke, but we get the sentiment. And yeah, and I get what you're saying there with the App Lab and the way the Oculus has dealt with some of these smaller devs that aren't in their favor. And that brings us to our next headline: virtual desktop VR streaming gets synchronous space warp on Quest 2 Roots. And I think this is cool because he's like, "Oh, you guys have asynchronous space warp? Well, mine's different. It's synchronous."
well, I'll tell you what, he's giving you everything you need. I mean, that was one of the things that I always say. It's kind of like some of the other Intel versus AMD, the drivers. You know, Oculus seems to have a better uh, grasp on a lot of the software end of it, as far as the stability, and then also the tracking. But obviously, Guy is balancing everything up. I thought they had something like that. I guess he didn't have that on the virtual desktop, huh?
No, no, and this is really cool, Roots. This is very innovative what he's actually doing here. And he posted some side by side shots, performance wise, synchronous space warp versus asynchronous space warp. And I mean, his looks better, man, with the footage that he's showing.
Mm.
Now I haven't tested it myself, but what he's doing here, Roots, makes all the sense in the world. It makes me wonder why Oculus didn't do this, and they probably will now, right? Uh,
Mm.
but what he's doing here is instead of having the PC uh, render all the frames, and basically, for those of you who don't know, what the space warp does is when your PC's struggling with holding a steady frame rate, it will cut the original frame rate in half. So it'll go, say, from 90 to 45, and then it will generate or duplicate frames to smooth it out. So you get 90 frames, every other frame being a new frame. And Oculus's version of this is derived from the Rift platform, and naturally, 100% of the frames, the new frames that they're drawing are being done on your PC. What Guy's doing here that's so different is he's saying, well, your PC's already struggling, right? And on the other hand, you have this processor that you're wearing in your headset. It's on your face, and that processor is not even being used at all. So what he's doing is he's splitting up the load between your PC and the chip, the XR2 that's in your headset. And he's having it doing
Mm.
half of the drawing of the new frames. And that's why the performance is supposedly so much better, is it's tapping some of that unused power that you're wearing on your face.
I like it. That sounds good, dude. You know what I mean? Like it's exactly what we said. Is why I said specifically I'm not worried about Gee. I'm not worried about virtual desktop. That he keeps one upping, and he seems to be thinking outside the box, and he's leading Oculus down the road to everything that's going on with their Airlink, right? So I would imagine this is going to be switched if this is that much better. And why would you not? And why would you not think? We even said this when with the first Quest, you know what I mean, hooking up that you could utilize that processor for a lot of different things, right? And this is just one of them. I think it's a really good idea and exciting times for this. And I'll, one, let me ask you two things, Wes, or at least a question. One of them is a question about Airlink. Have you tried it yet? And is this going to make you want to try it? And two, this reiterates exactly why it's good to own virtual desktop, not only to support Guy, who is pushing everything forward, but I had an instance yesterday. I was trying to play a couple things on Airlink, and for whatever reason, it just would not connect. And then I ended up restarting everything, came back to it later, and it was fine. But I just ended up not going into VR at that moment. But if I would have went straight to virtual desktop and joined that way. It's always good to have a backup because there so things get weird sometimes. So
Yeah, I have not. I haven't. I tried it out when they first put it in the beta, and my PC didn't recognize, or Airlink didn't recognize my PC rather. So
hmm.
I didn't ever. I've never had any issues with virtual desktop, so I didn't really feel like troubleshooting it. I have been thinking about going back to it, but I'm not going to lie. Hearing this makes me really more excited to get back in the virtual desktop because, I mean, when you're talking about something like this that allows you to run high frame rates, virtual desktop does support 120 hertz PC streaming. And then you have these games coming out that are supporting DLSS, which is going to allow you to run the game at high frame rates. Uh, that's really what I'm most excited to check out are those games. And it's starting. I'm wondering, Roots, are we getting to the point now where streaming wirelessly on my Quest 2 is going to be preferable from a quality standpoint versus my G2? I don't know, and I'm sure a lot of the Master Race guys are laughing at that idea. But if you know, in some of these games where frame rate matters, maybe I'd opt for that 120 over the super high resolution. Not it's not like the Quest has a bad resolution going on.
It's a really good valid point. And actually, I was saying, Red Dead Redemption 2 is supposed to have this DLSS coming out soon, right? And I've been waiting for 2 weeks, and I still haven't heard Wes. I'm like, that's my Christmas gift. I'm waiting for. I stopped playing it because because my experience with No Man's Sky really opened my eyes. It looks so clear, Wes. I couldn't believe how good it looks now because everything's cranked up and it's smooth, and that's I want that for my Red Dead Redemption 2 for the rest of the game that I play. I want it to be look that good, and it's going to. I think we should be getting that any day now, and then whether it works out of the box with the mod or not is questionable. But if I'm thinking it will, but even if it doesn't, I'm sure Luke Ross will get it up and running fairly quickly. So
Well, I will. You say you get your news from me. Well, I'm staying tuned to the Roots channel for that one because I do have it installed and ready to go, but I have not jumped in to try it out yet. So I think I'll wait on that update as well.
I'll tell you what, man, because you have the 3080, you should be able to get it to where I want to get it to already, um, clarity wise, but definitely with DLSS for sure.
Absolutely. Headline: Y'all 2 motion simulator chair games garners over $2.7 million on Kickstarter. Roots, they say there's no money in VR.
Oh yeah, it's dead, dude. VR is dead. Now, how much of that 2.7 million was from you? Did you get one or two of these things?
Dude, by the time I knew this thing was live on Kickstarter, the first 2 or 3 tiers had already sold out. And honestly, I probably would have considered buying one had I known in time that the super early bird special is up. But at the end of the day, I missed out on that, and by missing out on that, it effectively moved out of my price range.
Mm.
I guess I'll just wait on y'all three. I mean, obviously we're gonna get y'all three now. I mean, if they're making millions selling this chair, then I think it's a pretty good bet we're gonna see more chairs out of these guys.
Yeah, and this one will come out, get a little bit cheaper maybe when it comes out. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think she's playing? Because, I mean, maybe the only thing I can think of is No Limits 2, maybe, where you started it and now you're going. Because any other game that I would think you would use this chair for, you'd have some sort of controller, but she's sitting there gripping the side things like she's on a ride or something, bro. And that would be amazing doing No Limits 2 and something like that.
Yeah, I think 100% she's on a roller coaster right now. I don't know if it's No Limits or one of the epic roller coasters or whatever. But 100% she's on the incline going up at the beginning of the thing.
I just got a traveling man said that he'd have to tell his wife he was becoming a barber to get this. You know, how cool would that be? Like if you had a barber shop and it was like, now you'd have to be really good at cutting hair, but you know that as the roller coaster's going, you're trying to trim the hair and stuff. Well, yeah, if you
It's
don't care
funny,
how
man.
if you don't care how the hair looks, it'll be good.
People would be walking out of your barber shop with obvious strap marks through their haircut.
Oh man,
Anyway,
that'd be fun.
I thought this was an awesome story and a great success story. From the onset of VR, we've seen a lot of startups, right? A lot of people coming with their niche things, and you look at it and you look at these high price tags, and you say, man, there's no way that these people are ever going to succeed. So you feel for them. But from day one, y'all came with something that everyone wants, and they did it not only the best, but they did it the most affordable version as well. And it's paying off for them now. And they're obviously a huge success. And I look forward to seeing the future iterations from these guys.
What's cool about the Yaw, too, or just the company in general, is the progression from the first one to the second one and how much more polished it looks. And I mean, obviously, you expect to see that, but you don't always see that. And it's a good sign for anybody picking up this one or any future ones. You know, clearly they're taking their money and they're putting it back into the business and getting better instead of taking the money and running. And that's what you always worry with a Kickstarter. And I believe that's why this one was so successful. The first one did so well. They lived up to their expectations. They gave a good product, and now everybody wants it. Wants it. And it just looks amazing.
Yeah, I'd be ecstatic just to get a Gen 1 one of these. The Gen 2 looks just outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chris Richardson's reading my mind here. He says, "Who's selling the y'all one cheap now?"
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know, bro.
Yeah, for real. I bet you could find it. You know, I'd be worried that maybe they didn't take care of it, but as long as it was taken care of well. PD says he wouldn't recommend wearing that dress. He's not going to wear that dress. If he gets that and wears that dress, just make sure you kind of put it down between your legs, Paradise. Okay.
You might want to wear a diaper. I mean, if I bought a used Yaw, I'd have to check it really closely with the UV light for stains, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Who knows what was going on in that chair?
Headline: I Expect You to Die Too features Will Wheaton and launches this summer. So Ruuts, Will Wheaton of Star Trek fame, providing his voice talents to a second iteration of a very popular Gen 1 VR game. How cool is that?
Well, that is cool. I wonder if that's gonna get gaming science teacher to buy this even more. This is one of her favorites, right?
She probably hooked it up. She's the one that did the deal with Mr. Wheaton.
Hell yeah, dude. Everybody loves Will Wheaton.
Space Dennis in the future is fucking nuts. It absolutely is, dude. And I pretty much feel like we're living in the future now. That since ever since I've got into VR, it's just like, dude, the future's awesome. The future's now. You know,
AI is now. AI is the future. Malevolent
that,
overlord AI. Mm.
the almighty AI. Yeah, that's what's next for sure. Let's talk a little bit about what's next for Blade and Sorcery. The next big Blade and Sorcery update will add dungeons, followed by loot and progression. Roots. Finally, something to do in this game. I've never had a modicum of interest in Blade and Sorcery because I don't really like sandbox. I like to have something to do in the game other than just mess around. And finally, they're starting to move in this direction. Roots. Um, a little bit interested in this now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, when I read this headline, my thought was is exactly the same thing, that maybe there's a reason to actually try this now with dungeons, progression, loot. Um, it becomes a game instead of a tech demo, because that's the biggest thing. I mean, everybody knows Blades and Sorcery, and the reason why it blew up was all the YouTubers doing all these ridiculous videos of killing things in crazy manners, right? And all these kids and people just was like, "Whoa, this is cool," right? And that coolness wore off really quickly. I went into it a couple of years ago and I stabbed a couple people, and I thought, "Wow, this is kind of boring." I mean, it does have amazing physics, but now to actually have a reason to go in, add progression, loot, and dungeons. I mean, that sounds amazing.
Sounds like a step in the right direction. It sounds like the first step toward a proper game. And I wanted to say sequel, but I think if they progress this correctly, they don't even really have to do a sequel. They could do DLCs and make some pretty good money on this thing.
Well, I'll tell you what this opens up to is once they get all that in place, think about all the mods. That's one of the best things about Blades and Sorcery is all the mods. And so you'll be have people will be adding dungeon contents, whatever. I think it could be really a really good game. A game that I would instead of rolling my eyes at, I'll definitely be wanting to play. And there's a place for this, people, especially on the Quest, people are asking, where can I get a Blade and Sorcery type of game? And I whether it's Quest or PC VR, people are looking for that type of a game, and maybe they can get it in this game. So
Scion VR in chat, the word story is missing from loot and progression. Yeah, I agree with that, but that's the next step, though. We're not saying that this totally solves everything that's wrong with Blade and Sorcery, but this is definitely a step in the right direction.
yeah, there needs to be story. Let's say look at it this way, okay? Demio is amazing, but there's really not too much story there. There is a little bit story, but it's still amazing, even though there's not this huge backstory. So it doesn't necessarily have to have an elaborate story, but it would help absolutely. So
For sure, and that's where we go back to DLC, the idea of DLC, right? If they get this thing up to the point where they can make it into a competent dungeon crawler, then they could do story DLCs for it and sell them, and people will buy them.
yeah, absolutely. Chris Richardson says was the way hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades um, did to remain fresh. And my thought is will we need a 6 hour tutorial to play this game? Because that was what turned me off about the hot dogs game. Is who was it that was saying that? Oh, there's a good tutorial here that tells you, and it's like 2 hours long or something on how to learn how to play the game. At that point, I don't even want to go into a 5 second tutorial, let alone a couple of hours of trying to figure out how to play something.
Yeah,
So
you lost Roots at the word tutorial.
yeah,
That's it.
I should have been the one that killed tutorial guy, just out of principle.
Okay, headline. Quest is getting a third person spectator view for casting. Roots, this is a beta feature that is coming from, it's stemming from their, I want to say Unity integration or maybe OpenXR, one of those game engine integrations. This is a tweak on that technology, which is going to allow developers to support a third person view when streaming, whether it be to your TV or to the website or Facebook or what have you. I think this is a cool option, and I think that it's cool functionality that I hope catches on.
Yeah, yeah, I think it'll be cool. Definitely. There's a lot of downfalls to casting, especially as cool as it is. Casting to your phone sucks. You know, I mean, especially if you have more than one person. Even that one person's looking at this small screen. Even if you have a pretty big phone, it's just not enough, right? They need to make it to where I can cast it to any TV really easily. And I don't know how you can do that, but so not everybody has a computer to hook up to it, and not everybody has a Chromecast, you know. So
Well, I will say this, that they have steadily gotten better uh, with the Quest 2 in regards to making it into a content creation tool.
hmm,
Like when Quest 1 came out, it was absolutely the worst thing to try to make a video from. And it's only recently got to the point uh, that it's actually viable as a content creation tool. And it's good to see that they're still continuing to improve it uh, because now uh, it started, you can see a path for it becoming the easiest way to create content because now that the mic works, you can record gameplay footage with with your microphone track included on it. Really, there's not a whole lot left for them here um, to add. I think if they would just add the option of full rate capture and full resolution capture, the stuff we do in SideQuest now, if they could get the headset to officially support that,
hmm.
then I think the Oculus Quest would probably be the easiest uh, way to record VR content.
Yeah, you definitely need a power source for that for sure. Whether it be your battery or you hooking it up to a block, because think about how much battery drain added just having your mic added to it, right? And then
Yeah,
imagine everything else. I guess you didn't have to because you had it switched on with SideQuest. I mean, we played a couple frames of one thing of that bowling game and it was done. But if
yeah.
you have it hooked up to a like I plug it into my phone charger with the official link cable, and it's always at 99%. Um, so
Yeah, I didn't plug it in at all that day. I was just going off of the battery that I had, and it turned out to be a pretty long video. So
well, it's
yeah,
good,
I had
but it's all you did it for science, Wes. Now we know how good that how and it really what was weird, it was our initial thoughts like, why the hell is your battery? You're like, oh my god, my battery's so low so quick, right? But it's because all that extras. There's reasons why that mic wasn't included. They were making the
right,
battery last as long as they possibly could in the consumer's eyes, before they start adding these features. So
right. But it's totally a necessity. I'm glad they added it in because I mean, talk about a pain in the ass having to you know get a mod mic, and as good as the mod mic sounds, it's a whole different deal having to add a mic track into the video. You have to
mm,
sync it up and do all this editing and all that stuff's out the window now that the Oculus Quest mic is included. And I think that this third person view uh, integration, it's going to have implications for content creation, not only in the view itself, but in the possible things that they can derive from it, like image stabilization and things like this for the first person view. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with it.
Chris Richardson wants to know if what's up with the delay on Demio's Oculus Rift release date. I want to know too. Damn it, where's my Demio? People say you could go get it, Ruuts. You can play it on PC VR right now, but you got to go buy the Steam version. I already own it. I already own the Quest version. I know my cross buy is out there. Where is it, Wes? Do we have any?
Now, that is a good question that I have not posed to our friends at Resolution Games. Now that people are bringing it up and inquiring minds want to know, I'll see what I can find out.
All right, Wes is on the case. We're gonna see what we can find out. And thanks for the question, Chris, because I really do. I mean, once that comes out, I'm going to be playing that. I think a lot more on the Rift version. There's not many games I have a reason to do it, but I want the clarity. I want the crispness that I don't even know if it's any different. So
Um, Headline: Supply chain analyst says that the 2022 Oculus headset will have new lenses. So this is an interesting story, Roots, that I read in from a couple of different uh, s- uh, outlets this past week. Apparently, there is a prominent lens manufacturer somewhere in Asia, and there are people who make their living analyzing these components
Hmm.
and predicting products based uh, on orders that they see from the various companies. And apparently, there have been very large orders for lenses being placed not only by Facebook, but by Sony as well.
Hmm.
And a fairly accurate, fairly prominent forecaster has predicted that both companies will have a new headset out in 2022, and that each of these headsets will feature a somewhat expanded field of view from the previous iterations of their headsets. So basically, what he's saying is that there's going to be a Quest 3 and a PlayStation 5 VR in 2022, which we already knew, and that is they're both going to have some extra field of view, which again, something that we were already speculating was going to be the case. It's nice to have some confirmation of that speculation.
Who doesn't want more field of view, right? Like I just for me, the Quest 2, the little difference from the Rift S seemed huge. Like, can you imagine if there's actually a big difference? You know, they say a slight improvement. I mean, but that could, I mean, that could be a lot, right? So,
Yeah, dude, it's number one on my list, and people talk about the XR2 chip, and there's already so much untapped potential for it. There's the Quest 2 in its current state isn't utilizing but a fraction of the power that's in their headset. They've yet to really push it. And most people, when they think about pushing that processor, they're thinking about higher resolutions. Um, but you can go another way, right? It doesn't always have to be more detail in the resolution. You can also go with a larger field of view as an effective means to use your resources to increase immersion. And I'd like to see them land on a happy medium somewhere. Increase that resolution, but don't use it all on resolution. Let's get some more FOV in there while we're at it.
yeah, the resolution's already good as it is, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad, and they're getting better with it. Like you're noticing in each, every month you have a new wave of games coming out for the Quest, and it seems like these games look better than last month's games, and it's pretty much been a trend for the last 6 months, and I expect it to continue for the foreseeable future.
Onikaze says he doesn't think it's going to be a huge increase in FOV. If it bumps to index FOV, he'll be surprised. And but think about this: people that have indexes rave about that FOV. That's the difference, man. That's the reason why Radio Runt's even better at playing. Not Radio Runt, but Jim Hall was better at Audica, right? Because he had a little bit more field of view. But then when it's going to come to the Quest, if it's the same field of view, it'll be downplayed and it'll be shit. Um, it won't be enough. I think any amount, any increase, is going to be amazing. And it's very, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to where the index FOV's at,
I
So,
think it's a possibility with the PlayStation headset. I don't know if it's the standalone technology is viable enough to support that kind of an increase. Because they're at the same time that they're expanding field of view, they're trying to make their headset smaller overall. So it's kind of a contradicting path. So I don't think I think he's right when it comes to Quest, but now with PlayStation 5 VR, I can certainly see that um, releasing with uh, the index's level of field of view, if not even a little bit more.
yeah, it's Techno Glitch just saying up there in the chat, Quest is going to wreck PSVR. Do you agree or
Yeah,
disagree?
I think that Quest and PSVR, I think that us, the enthusiasts, are the overlap. I think that we're the people that they would be competing for in this imaginary competition. And I think most of us are going to get both of them. I think as far as the masses go, I think that the Quest uh, group and the Sony group are largely two different groups, and I think that they're going to be two different markets. And I think again, I think that where the two markets overlap, you're talking about people like us who are just going to buy both of them anyway.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Headline: Ray tracing and DLSS enhance the persistence this week. So this is just the gift that keeps on giving, Roots. I mean, we learned about the Persistence Enhanced Edition months ago, and at the time, the enhancements were not set to affect VR. I pled my case with the developers, and not saying that that's the reason why this is happening, but we found out last week that the game's going to support DLSS. Awesome. And now we find out this week that not only is it going to support DLSS, it's also supporting ray tracing in VR.
Mm.
That's awesome, man. This game was already a beautiful looking game. This is getting close to the top of my to-do list as far as what I want to be checking out in VR next.
You need to check out No Man's Sky now, and you need to check out this, and I need to do the same thing, and we can talk about it. This is out now, or is it still coming? 'Cause this was from the 7th.
Out now.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, so I could have sworn I saw somebody in the Discord saying they've been playing it, and how amazing it looks. I'm gonna have to check it out, because I want to see some
Yeah.
ray tracing, and I want to. I think this is the future, and I feel I'm starting to feel bad for anybody that owns an Nvidia card that's below the 2080, and AMD is working on doing the same thing, so that must probably going to be the route a lot of people end up going. But this technology for VR is a groundbreaker, man. If they took, I was thinking about all sorts of games. Like what is that other game that's multiplayer that's a little janky, but we always say is really good. I had it on the tip of my brain earlier, but where you can craft stuff but it's very beautiful, but very rough as far as frames per second. But this is going to bring it to where every game is amazing, right? If the devs decide to work on it. So
Yeah. And I haven't checked this stuff out yet. But I know that PD's good friend Beardo Benjo did a video from the Persistence the other day, and he was just blown away. He had all this stuff enabled, and he said it was just beautiful.
Beardo Benjo, man. Every time I turn around, I'm seeing one of his videos. He's very active.
Chris Richardson, the Persistence is on sale, half off. Well, that's a 100% recommend from me. The Persistence is one of the better games in VR. Period, regardless of platform. And if you can, unless you're one of these people that absolutely hates playing with the gamepad, you need to play the Persistence. And with my newfound my newfound appreciation for the roguelike, I have a renewed motivation to get in the Persistence and actually finish it this time because it's a difficult game. But I feel like my recent experience in these roguelike games might provide some fresh perspective going into that and how to approach it.
Yeah, that's true. Mepper says it seems Unreal 5 will support all the lighting effects without graphics card ray tracing. And it probably will, but what it won't do is it won't allow you to take all these older games that are developed. And I mean that's what the beauty of this DLSS is making it to where those ones can run well in VR. And we're still a couple of years before we're running into a mass adoption of the Unreal 5, which is going to be amazing. I think it's going to be
Dude,
just next level.
what he's saying is true. He's talking about the Lumen technology, which is essentially a software-based ray tracing that isn't very expensive from a computational standpoint. And the difference that that's going to make with console and standalone based VR, uh, 3, 4, 5 years from now is just going to be crazy.
Yep, I can't wait. Hopefully the world doesn't ruin it. They seem to want to ruin everything. He-Man at all. They're ruining everything, Wes.
No, they're not ruining my beloved VR.
Oh, that's true.
Sutrabla in the chat. PSVR 2, HDR, 120-degree field of view. Yeah, these were all statements that were made by the Sony VP of R&D a couple of years ago. So it'll be interesting to see how it actually comes to play in the real life product when it comes out next year.
Yeah.
Headline, and we talked a little bit about this one already. Resolution Games bringing a campaign mode to Blast On and the Realm of the Rat King expansion to Demio later this month. So news on multiple fronts from our friends at Resolution Games. And I got to say kudos in both regards. I mean, to put a single player campaign mode in the Blast On is a very big value added proposition for someone like me who prefers to play single player most of the time. And then we all know about the Realm of the Rat King and how awesome this thing looks. And it's good to see that it's coming soon, Roots. We don't even have to wait, but 2 weeks, and we'll have our hands on this one.
Yeah, a couple weeks, man. It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait.
And last but not least, Waltz of the Wizards Natural Magic update confirmed for July. Now, Waltz of the Wizard is one. It was a cool tech demo. For the longest time, it's one of the better examples we have of hand tracking in VR. But again, my interest in tech demos died a long time ago. A big step in the right direction with regards to this natural magic update, Roots, because now you can leave that room. There are different locations you can go to. In fact, you can go to this tower place, and guess what's in the tower, Roots?
Magic?
Enemies. There's enemies now, and you actually can use your powers and abilities to explore, and it's getting a lot of classic dungeon crawler mechanics added into it, which I think is amazing at this late date. I mean, this thing's been out forever, and like Blade and Sorcery we were talking before, it's only now starting to put in features that are piquing my interest, and I think this is a big move in the right direction for this, because let's be honest, I mean, outside of the limited scale of the software, like it's very beautiful. Like it's beautiful, and by all reports, it runs well. So it's nice to see them expanding the scope of it.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I went in there. Lipnox is saying they've already had enemies, and you were able to leave the room before. So I don't know, maybe they've added new enemies, or
Yeah. Well, it's a new location. You could go out into the courtyard, I think, is what they added before. But from what I understand, this new update is larger in scale than the previous update that brought this stuff in.
well, the bottom line is he said it's cool tech demo, but didn't know about the content. But still it's gonna be even a better version of tech demo, and maybe even branch out of the tech demo feel, right? I mean, it seems like all of a sudden there's moves when it comes to hand presence games, like no controllers types, right? And this is just one more of them. This could make it a viable game to play, not just have as a tech demo.
Yeah, not quite there yet as far as something that I'm going to be spending any kind of time on. But the whole point is that this is a move in the right direction for these games like this, and again, Blade and Sorcery. If they continue down this path, I could very well see myself at some point jumping in and giving them a shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wolveraza, and a room where these huge people judge you, and another one too. Yeah. All right, that's going to wrap up headlines this week. Again, Roots, 10 topics. We got through that fairly quickly for 10 topics. Generally, that's two shows for us. And good job, man. What way to not veer off, huh?
Yeah, we did it. We did it, bro.
All right, that's going to bring us into our gaming news, and we begin with Fracked. Upload opened up their VR showcase this past week with a brand new look at PlayStation VR exclusive shooter, Fracked. Developer In Dream shared around 3 minutes of new gameplay footage, which was captured from the game's Mountain Adventure chapter. The footage also introduces an unexpected new enemy type called the Blaster. They're monstrous brutes that take a beating and have a weak spot on their backs. The new gameplay was accompanied by the announcement that Fracked will be July's upload access title. So there will be loads more coverage where this came from. Fracked, of course, will release later this summer exclusively on PlayStation VR. Ruuts, of all the titles that were covered on the Upload VR showcase this past week, I feel like Fracked's the one whose profile was raised the most. We got some more footage, uh, more gameplay footage of this, and it's a revelation to me because Roots, the more I see of this game, the faster it looks. Like this game is starting to look like a very fast-paced action game, which I think is really cool and lends itself well to this action adventure genre that they're trying to touch on.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about it is it's PlayStation VR exclusive because I don't have a PSVR right now. But definitely looks amazing. Looks like it's going to be even better than their last game, which is hard to beat.
Yeah,
Sure.
they continue to innovate in Dreams, and it's becoming kind of their a hallmark of their games now, right? That they're doing different stuff in their games,
That
and
Look at how cool that gun, the back of the gun, the counter for the bullets, right? And because everybody's always bitching about nobody wants a HUD, right? So this is the way you get around a HUD. It's on the actual gun, and I just think it's really cool.
yeah, I think that this game, the more I see of it, the more likely it is to end up on the short list at the end of the year. I think this looks absolutely amazing. It looks beautiful, and again, these guys in In Dreams are promising to fully leverage the PlayStation 5, which is another big plus, in my opinion, because not enough studios are doing that right now. People are really dropping the ball on this PS5 integration.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird. I guess there's just maybe they're figuring it's because it's so slow to get out there. There's really no reason to rush on it. I guess I don't know.
The highest selling console launch in history, nearly 9 million sold to date, Roots.
That's crazy. How nobody has them. It's
Yeah.
so bizarre, bro.
Well, that's not exactly true. I mean, a lot of us have them.
Yeah,
Like I have one, Master has one, PD has one, D-Rail has one. I mean, a lot of us have them.
yeah. They're just harder to
You just
get
can't.
than any
There's
other
there's got
console that's ever existed.
yeah.
So
Well, that's true. There's a lot of reasons for that, though.
that's true.
It's not all supply side. Uh, there's a lot of demand, like unprecedented demand here, not only with this, but with all electronic products.
Yeah, that's true.
Chris Richardson, I was a little underwhelmed by the frack video. Maybe it was the acting done while playing. Some of the hand motions move and holding them up to shield from debris seemed over the top. Um, you got to wonder if how much of that's acting, though. You don't know what kind of movement systems that they have at play here. Again, these are using move controllers. There's no thumbsticks at all. And again, we know that In Dreams to be very innovative. A lot of this stuff might be overt motion controls, but I was extremely impressed with this demo. That I think they gave us a few different looks at different gameplay modes here, and it was all very high octane, fast paced stuff. And I'm loving what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait.
Traveling Man 3775. Were they talking about changing things in an engine or changing to a new engine? I don't know. I think maybe I'm getting in late on a. Okay, he's talking about Saints and Sinners. They're updating their engine, so they're sticking with the same game engine, but the update caused some problems with their they wanted to launch on all platforms simultaneously, so their new update was causing a problem from that perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wolveraza, that is some James Bond shit. Exactly, exactly. This looks like a secret agent, like Mission Impossible type stuff here. Some of the things that they're doing in this, And we've talked a lot about this game before. I don't want to rehash it all that much, but you know, this new trailer really again it properly expanded my hype level more than the stuff we saw from after the fall, more from even the stuff we saw from Sniper Elite this past week. This was kind of the best in show for me because again, I didn't realize just how fast this game is. This is a fast game, or at least they're portraying it to be that way. And it almost scares me. It's so fast. It makes me think that maybe this is going to be a game that's over with before you want it to be over with.
Yeah. Well, as long as it's long enough, I don't care. Right?
You know who else says that?
My
Yeah, she
mom.
does.
Anyway, I just wanted to highlight this this new 3 minutes of gameplay footage we got. Patrons, as was the case last week, you can scroll to the bottom of your weekly show notes and you'll find all the trailers linked up in there. If you didn't get a chance to check this out, I highly recommend that you do. And especially if you have a PlayStation VR, because it's exciting times, to say the least. Now, Roots, the the other big news about this was that it was going to be the upload access title for July. Now, I was thinking that this thing had a July release date on it, or at least a release window. Am I wrong about that?
I don't know. I didn't hear what the release was at all. So I mean, if they're just doing a showcase in July, that sounds like it's different later on that's coming out.
Let's find out here right quick. Because I was almost sure that this game was coming in July.
Well, while you're looking at that, Wolveraza says he's going to be super biased on Sniper Elite. Was one of his favorite series of games. He's played them all, so it's going to be you're going to be the I guess we'll see how much you love it. It does look amazing. It looks like it's going to it's going to be really good. I just want a good story, something to drag me through a game like that. I don't want to just go into these where all these guys are running around and I have to kill them, and there's not. I just feel like that I'm just killing things. There's no real reason to. I want to feel like Farpoint makes me feel when I'm being pulled through it, right?
Right. And let me be clear here. When I say that this got me more excited than the other stuff, I'm talking specifically in the context of the Upload VR showcase. I'm not saying that this is my most anticipated release out of all those. That's not what I mean. What I mean is as far as the known quantities that were featured during the Upload showcase, I feel like Frack stock is the one that went up the most from what they showed. I thought that this was amazing, this footage that they showed, and it's got me ready to put my PSVR headset back on for a little bit.
Nice. Chris Richardson's blaming us again. He said he just bought Persistence at
Well, I'll
50%
take the
off.
blame on this one, man.
Man.
You're gonna dig this game. Now, again, it is hard, but you know who loves it when it's hard?
My mom.
Yeah, she does. Dude, I'll tell you what, man. I am gonna go. I'm gonna re-download the Persistence onto my computer. That's not in my current library, but and just check it out with the DLSS and the ray tracing and all that. See how it looks.
Why don't we do that for Wednesday, Roots?
Yeah, I think we should go into No Man's Sky as well, because I think it's gonna blow you away, dude. Like it was just it looks so good for me. I can't imagine how it's gonna look for you on a 3080.
Well, I will do my best to get into both of those. I am going out of town on my days off this week. I will be coming back in time to do the show. But all of my gameplay that's not going to be quest gameplay is going to have to be done by tomorrow. So
Okay.
I'll try to get into both of them by tomorrow. I'm going to definitely start on the persistence though, because I love persistence.
Yeah. No, it's easy. Just make sure make sure you go in and change the settings. That's the biggest thing is people will have it downloaded and say nothing's changed. Well, you gotta go into the settings and physically change it in game so that it it's one like a TAAS or TAA setting type of thing, right? So
Right. Yeah, you have to go into the game's graphical settings to turn this stuff on. Absolutely.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll try to get into both of those. Roots will get into both of them regardless. And if I don't get into both of them before then, I will be checking something out on Quest from my hotel room, and I'll have that ready to talk about when I get back on Wednesday. So
Are you
we'll
roller
have an
coasting?
awesome. Yeah, we're going to Kings Island. That's right.
Hell yeah, dude. Don't get in
It's
any
time, man.
fights. Don't get in any fights. I heard there's been quite a few fights going on at Kings Island lately for some reason. People are pissed, Wes.
They are, man.
Hmm.
That you don't cut line, bro.
Yeah, that's true. Not in Ohio.
Reckoner VR joining us in chat. I only played about 30 minutes of the persistence. Maybe I need to go back in. There's never a better time, bro, especially if you have an RTX card.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, moving on. Another title featured on the Upload VR showcase this past week was Unplugged. As part of the Upload VR showcase, a new trailer for hand tracking air guitar game Unplugged showed some new gameplay and revealed its scheduled release later this year in the fall. Developed by Another Way and published by Vertigo Games, Unplugged is a guitar rhythm game that lets you rock out in front of a crowd, similar to classics like Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Since it was first announced, Vertigo Games jumped on board in partnership with Another Way, and music game legend Marcus Henderson has also joined the team. Henderson was the lead guitarist on the Guitar Hero series, and Acosta says bringing him on and partnering with Vertigo has allowed the team to think much bigger with Unplugged. Another Way co founder Ricardo Acosta says the team has made great progress recently and has added new modes, power ups, crowd interactions, and mini games. The trailer also reveals the first song of the Unplugged track list, The Kids Aren't All Right by The Offspring. Unplugged will be available this fall on the Oculus Quest and on Steam for hand tracking supported PCVR headsets. Roots, I've been very aware of this title since it was in its infancy, since it was just a cool tech demo that dude was showing off on social media. And at that time, when he unveiled it, I said, no way, it'll never work. Like, no way the hand tracking will ever be good enough for a game like this to play smoothly. And beyond that, I mean, it's retarded, dude. It's just due to air guitaring. Like, seriously, people are going to want a game based on that? No way. No way it ever makes it. Then there was this period where people, uh, you know, prominent people, respected people within our space just went public with their love for the idea of an air guitar game. And again, I look at it and it's just not there for me, man. Uh, I love rock music and all too, but I mean, the dude's playing air guitar with a VR headset on. How could they possibly make that into a fun game? Um, Watching this piece on this during the Upload VR showcase this past week, this one finally started to click a little bit for me, Roots, because the scale of what they're doing with this now has increased on such an exponential level from what this game once was, that now I see it. I see how this might be cool now. Um, they're basically making this game now into a love letter to rock and roll, and I love rock and roll as well. And uh, they're putting the funding behind it. They're putting the resources behind it. They're they're sparing no expense when it comes to making this fulfill their vision. And I got to say, Roots, I'm kind of on board with it now. I'm glad that Vertigo Games stepped in here because uh, obviously this guy would have never been able to build something like this on his own.
Yeah, well, I have the same worries that you do. Without the haptics or feeling like you're holding something, and that's what I've said about hand tracking from the beginning. It's gonna feel weird, but somebody else was saying in was saying in the chat, they were saying Wolveraza plays guitar for real is gonna have to at least try it, and that's what intrigues me. If the tracking is good enough, like Spry Guy is wondering if it's going to be, or was it Spry that said that? I don't know, but if it's good enough, I think for somebody that plays guitar, this could be really amazing, right? If the tracking is 1-to-1, so I don't know.
Well, I think it's important to note here that this is not a guitar playing simulator. This is an arcade game that plays like Guitar Hero, pretty much. Plays like Guitar Hero with hand tracking. And I think that just looking at this compared to what this used to be, I mean, it doesn't even look like the same thing that it used to be. It looks like it's highly produced. And the fact that they've got this Henderson, working on it and putting his expertise into making this into a fun game is very reassuring for me. And then on top of that, to hear that they're bringing in legit artists to do the soundtrack. I mean, come on, man, that's awesome.
Yeah. I saw that this said in the trailer it's got an asterisk next to Steam. So clearly it's coming to Steam VR, but it's not gonna be wireless. So you're gonna have. Well, do you think they'll have a controller option for the Oculus as well? As it might. I mean, just holding something in your hands. I mean, if not, then you could almost have all these 3D printed things. People could make something that feels like a real guitar, right? But you could still, your hands would still be being tracked. So that'd be
It's
pretty cool.
coming. Yeah, it's coming to Steam VR headsets that support hand tracking. It's not coming as a controller game.
Ah,
So
okay.
this is 100% a hand tracking application.
So then what about the three? You could have a 3D printed guitar thing that's like just so you have something in your hand. I think that
I think,
would be cool.
yeah, I think that would help you probably play this game the same way that having a gun stock helps you play shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I
And
mean,
I think that
otherwise,
this game could, I mean, that they could sell peripherals like that for it, even like an official guitar that has no buttons on it. I mean, they can put haptics in it if you want.
yeah.
But I mean, they could just sell like something that makes you feel like you're holding a guitar.
How cool
Uh,
would that be? And I don't know what the haptics of a real guitar feel, but if you could have haptics in there, that does feel like you're really playing that guitar. I think this could be amazing.
yeah, yeah, dude. And again, you you've got experienced guys from the industry in there. You've got Vertigo with their expertise in making awesome games and publishing awesome games, and then you have that legitimate rock element to the soundtrack. It's not generic music. This is real legit jam and tunes. So like it's got everything going for it. And from what I'm seeing here, the hand tracking has improved leaps and bounds uh with the Oculus Quest 2. So I'm not saying that this is something I'm going to play every day or anything like that, but compared to my complete disbelief in this project 6 months ago, um, like I'm starting to become a believer now. This looks cool to me for the first time ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, people say you can just grab a broom, bro. Just grab a broom, be just as good as a peripheral.
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
Grab my guitar shaped broom and go to town, huh?
Yeah, Wolverosa, that's actually a good point. And this could be the future of maybe not this game, because like Wes said, it's not like a simulation, but imagine the future of learning to play guitar in VR, you know, something that's really cool, that's fun, and you're learning as you're going, but and you come out 6 months later knowing how to play a real guitar. That'd be really cool.
Rendered reality and chat rock band. That was awesome, actually. Well, kind of awesome. Yeah. Uh, Reckoner VR. Anyone remember the Oculus Guitar Hero game? That was the one where you had the touch controller to the plastic guitar. Um, yeah, didn't they give that away not too long ago as part of one of
I don't
these
remember.
bundles? Like one of these bundles that came from Intel gave away a bunch of VR games, and one of them was Guitar Hero or Rock Band or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I never played it, so I don't know.
Nobody wanted the key for it because nobody had the hardware you're supposed to use to play with it.
Yeah, that's a problem. It's kind of like the problem with things like Farpoint, even though I mean you want to own the aim controller, so that doesn't become a problem. But if you don't own it, it's like I don't, I have to buy the controller too, and it's just one extra thing on top of it. So
Spry Guy, I still have the Rockman VR Rift controller mount. There you go, man. He's OG hardcore
OG,
drifter.
bro. You know who's the biggest OG of CV1 goodness is Scion. He is a OG from the original OGs.
Rigid reality, Rockman in VR wasn't as good. They did it weird where you didn't play the same way as it did normally. It was still kind of cool though. Yeah, well, I'm thinking that this Unplugged is going to be kind of cool, and really, I think that Ruuts' question is the only question here with this. Is it going to feel weird to be doing air guitar as opposed to holding something? But as far as the game side of it goes, I think I'm kind of blown away with what they've done with this.
Yeah, yeah, I think it'll be really cool. Has a potential to be amazing.
Not long to wait, Roots, this fall on Oculus Quest.
Nice, dude. So if you don't own a Quest yet, this is it. You better get it soon.
Speaking of hand tracking, Unplugged was not the only hand tracking game to feature during the Upload showcase. Upload also revealed a new trailer for hand tracking basketball game In the Hoop as it launched on the App Lab this past week. In the Hoop focuses on all things basketball with the ability to shoot hoops across multiple types of environments and scenarios with modifiers. The game supports motion controllers as well as hand tracking, the latter of which developer Realcast claims is able to, quote, mimic the movements of each of your fingers so precisely that it can simulate the act of shooting hoops without the need to hold a controller. At launch, the game will have online leaderboards for tracking your score against other players and your friends. A post launch update will add online multiplayer, allowing you to shoot some hoops with your friends and other players from around the world. And the Hoop is available on Oculus Quest App Lab right now, with PSVR and Steam releases for the game also planned for later this year. Now, Roots, we've talked about basketball in VR before. This is something that whenever somebody gets it right, it's going to be great. Nobody's gotten it quite right yet, and really the biggest problem I've had with previous iterations of basketball in VR is none of the games let your second offhand affect the ball at all. You can hold it up there to make it feel like you're naturally shooting, but it doesn't guide the ball. It doesn't touch the in-game ball at all. It's just everything that you're doing with one hand on the ball, which is not how you shoot a basketball. You know what I mean? It's not how you shoot a basketball. So none of these games have ever felt right to me. I feel like with this game and the hand tracking, um, the hand tracking functionality, I think at least now the possibility exists that you're actually able to play two-handed basketball in VR. And I think that this is one of those cases where one of the very few rare cases where hand tracking actually makes sense in a game.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully there'll be resistance to where you can, because you could still do it with physics as far as how pushing it, because that's the key, right? Making it feel like it's not too heavy, not too light. That's one of the biggest things that doesn't translate in VR for most basketball things. But I think you're right, because when you're shooting, you're leading with your backhand, right? That's what's controlling almost all of it, but it's not in the normal basketball. So it would be really interesting to see, to have your hand up there, be able to use both hands, shoot properly with both hands, and see if it makes a difference. Now, somebody said in the chat, Wolveraza, I think it was Wolveraza. Somebody was saying basically that they wish this was a real basketball game. When I first saw that this was a basketball title, I got excited, was hoping it was going to be like a legit basketball game, because we have several games that let us shoot baskets. The only thing that this may offer that the other ones don't is actual real physics, and have it feel
Right.
like it's either going to be hit or miss. If it really lets you shoot it like a real basketball, like you're saying, then this will beat every other game out there as far as shooting baskets. If it doesn't, then we've got a dozen of these, and there's really no need for it. So,
Yeah, in my experience, and we have rendered reality in the chat saying everyone needs to try the basketball and Robo Recall. It feels so good. Yeah. In all seriousness, though, the best basketball I've played in VR, sadly, is Summer Funland. Summer
mm,
Funland actually feels almost real. Again, the only big problem being that it's all one-handed shooting, which is not what you do. Um, and I agree. I feel like the physics in this game are really going to make or break it. And I feel like there's hope here because they say at the top of this promo here that it takes practice to get used to, which is what you would expect if it were physics based, right? Because I point to a game like Boneworks. They have their in-game physics, and then that you have what you're able to do in real life. And if you don't kind of mimic in real life what it would be like holding something with weight, then the interaction in the game just kind of breaks and it don't work. And I feel like that's what would happen here. Like you have to pretend like you have the thing in your hands and that it has weight and because if you just swing it around like there's nothing in your hands, then obviously you're not going to be able to shoot the basket very effectively in game. So interested, Roots. I'm interested to see how this actually works out.
yeah, me too. You know what's funny, Wes, is as much as I said or complained about it back in the day, which we found out a long time ago, this has never come into Rift S as far as the hand tracking, right? So I didn't have a Quest 2, and I didn't get to have the hand tracking. If I were to pick this game up today and try the hand tracking thing, it would be the very first time I've ever tried hand tracking. I've never done this in VR. It just never, there's never been a reason to. Everything seemed gimmicky, so I never tried it. I never decided to see what it would be like, but it'd be interesting to try it for the first time with a game like this.
I use it a little bit for menu interactions. Like I don't game with it, but sometimes I'll see my hands in the headset before I see my controllers in real life. So I'll just use my fingers to select things and then grab my controllers.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be a definitely it'll be interesting to try a game that maybe is better with hand track. No, hand tracking without the controllers. So,
Yeah, yeah, and I'll point out again too with the improved hand tracking on the thing that the quote that the developer Realcast claims that again mimics the movements of each of your fingers so precisely that it can simulate the act of shooting hoops without the need to
mm,
hold a controller. This makes me hopeful in regards to this game that the way that you hold your hands and the way that you shoot, your motion being correct actually will cause the in-game ball to spin the way it would in real life and
mm-hmm.
roll off your fingers. Like you can only do that with hand tracking. Like a basketball game using controllers really wouldn't be able to simulate that motion, right? And what it means to get it just right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Delirium Drew, I really think the hand tracking physics lab is pretty sweet. As long as you move your hands at a slower speed, it tracks you really well. Yeah, that guy's a bit of a prodigy. Guy from Holonautic. His name escapes me, but he's very talented.
Well, we're seeing it where, someone was saying that, I think it's Ray Delator hopes this game does well, right? Because if it does well, it'll mean good things for future basketball games. And so, it may just seem like a shooter. You're just shooting baskets, big deal. It's everything gets built upon, right, over time. So we will eventually get those games where we're able to, you know, play basketball soon, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and it bodes well for the televisions out there. I mean, if we're not slinging around these controllers as much anymore, then people are not going to break as many TVs.
I think so. And actually, Wolveraza, I think you're right on to where it's going to be led with the. He says gloves with tiny haptics fixes hand tracking issues. He thinks. and be a glove, Oculus gloves that have haptics in it for hand tracking games that stimulates, not only, just imagine whatever technology where it sends the electric currents to make you feel like you're really holding on to something, kind of makes your muscles tense up on stuff. That'd be pretty cool too. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and something like that would have to be, I mean, if we were to get it, it would have to come from Oculus because, I don't know. I mean, I guess a third party could pull that off. It would only work with inside out tracked headsets, though. It's not like something that the lighthouse based tracking isn't going to be precise enough to, monitor your fingers from across the room. It's just not. So this is the type of thing that only would work with inside out headsets.
yeah.
Anyway, definitely interested in the hoop, and if anybody tries it out, hit me up in the Discord. Let me know what you think about it. It's available now on App Lab. All right, Roots. Now for the surprise of the show for me. Blasters of the Universe developer Secret Location has begun teasing their next project, Nerf Ultimate Championship. Collaborating with Nerf to bring those classic battles all kids know and love into VR, Nerf Ultimate Championship is about digitally recreating that excitement, pitting players against each other in team based wars. Players will be able to select from a range of Nerf blasters before heading into an arena to leap around and dodge darts in an effort to win the quick physical matches. Outside of the arena, players will be able to customize their avatars and blasters with the kind of vibrant designs that the brand is known for. Nerf Ultimate Championship is due to arrive for the Oculus Quest at some point next year. Now, Roots, I'm not going to sit up here and lie and say that I'm super excited to play this Nerf arena based combat game. But what I am excited about is that one, we have a brand like Nerf supporting VR with a title, and two, that Secret Location is going to continue to do what they do best and make VR games. Hasbro uh, picked up Secret Location. They acquired Secret Location some time ago, and was a bit worried that they might get flipped into some kind of a pancake game company. So I'm very happy to see that that's not the case here at all. That they're going to keep on making VR games, and they're just going to do it under the context now of these Hasbro franchises like Nerf. So exciting, man! Just another, another thing to point to with regards to VR kind of reaching that mainstream acceptance.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I agree with rendered reality. My thing is, I only way I would play this game is if I could play it with those shoes on. Now I see this is what I see a lot of content creators in full neon, for the release of this game for all the people that get advanced copies. Instead of the suit, you got to wear those glowing shoes, and but it definitely looks pretty cool though. It's I think everything that you just said is the main reason to get excited about it. I don't know if this is going to be good or not, but there's a lot of big companies involved in this, and we have a while to wait before it even comes. So who knows what is in store for this by that time.
Well, we don't have much to go on here, and I'm not going to draw this out into some long segment because they didn't even show us any gameplay. But I will say this: Secret Location, a quality developer, again behind Blasters of the Universe, so that you know that they can pull this kind of title off. Secondly, this might be fun, man. This game might be fun when you think about how fun it is to um to use realistic reload mechanics in military shooters in VR. Think about that now with regards of Nerf guns and a massive variety in the different kinds of Nerf guns there are out there, and the way that they load. Um, that could be something that's fun to do in VR, right? Reload these things in the context of an intense battle. So it might actually be fun. Although, at least right now, I'm kind of leaning more time toward the gimmick side of things with regards to this title.
Yeah. Well, we only have till next year to wait. And there's no, I mean, that could be the end of next year for all we know. So,
Yeah. It'll be interesting to, generally these bigger companies, they don't just have one facet to these kind of marketing campaigns. It'll be interesting to see what kind of other things that are going to be added into the campaign when they actually get ready to launch this. I'm sure it's not going to be some app lab release. This is going to be a big deal when it comes out, or at least they're going to try to make it into a big deal.
looking at this trailer a little closer, those shoes kind of look like Marty McFly shoes, the ones that lace up on themselves. I want my future shoes, Wes? I want to stick my foot in and watch it and zip up on its own and get the tightness without having to do the bow. This is 2021, bro. We should not be making the over, under, in and out loops anymore, dude. That's done. That's yesterday. So
Yeah, I just if I don't get my future shoes soon, Roots, I'm just going to go back to the Velcro straps from third grade. You remember the ponies?
yeah, dude. Remember the ones that had the zipper on the side for you to put a little couple things of change in there? So cool.
Ray Del Tour in the chat asked, "Did you get your haptic vest yet, Weasel?" No, I actually didn't buy the haptic vest. I decided to upgrade my VR camera capabilities
Mm.
instead. So instead of buying a haptic vest, I bought a Views XR VR camera.
When are we gonna see our first video? I want a 360 video from Wes or 180. I want you to open something up. Be cool.
I'm definitely that's definitely on the to-do list, and the answer to that's when I get time, man. I've been so busy with so much stuff going on right now. I just haven't had time to do anything like that yet, but it is coming. It is coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chris Duncan says Ruse. No, Ruse are a different thing entirely, bro. Ruse had zippers all over them.
Yeah, you could put change in them and stuff. That was cool, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Rick Steiner used to sell everybody Ruse.
Yeah, I used to
back in
have
the
all
day.
sorts of pockets, man. I was hiding all sorts of contraband when I was a kid. Extra change, and I guess that's not contraband, but still.
Delirium Drew, VR camera, what are you filming with it? Well, thus far, my children and my family, but everything, bro, everything, anything and everything.
Yeah. Hey, you could
It's
take it. You could take it to your amusement park trip. I'm sure you're
oh,
already
it's
planning.
it's 100% going, and I've already got some stuff from Kings Island with the older camera that turned out pretty good actually, especially when you talk about still photographs like 3D photographs, like the older Lenovo camera did really good looking stills, and I've got some good ones from the Halloween haunt at Kings Island 2 years ago.
Oh, nice, dude. That was pre-COVID too, bro. And that's like special pictures.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Scion VR with the Napoleon Dynamite reference. You got to have zippers for the tater tots.
I want some tater tots with cheese and chili covered Sonic and Oreo
Me
shake.
too. And in that vein, let's move on. This past week, VR Cyberpunk Mystery 9, The Splintered Mind released a long overdue new trailer. The trailer gives us another look at the game's impressive cyberpunk environments, as well as a dialogue tree with NPCs and some of the gadgets that you will be using. Set in the distant future, 2099 to be exact, Nine sees players investigate a murder that brings them up against gangs and megacorporations. Playing as a detective named Avery Nine, you'll explore the underbelly of a broken future in search of answers about what happened to your friend. Developer Odin Studios has confirmed that the series will be released in episodic installments, and the first part is coming soon, and the developer is planning a trilogy of titles. Nine is headed to PC VR headsets, with no word on a potential Oculus Quest or PSVR release for that matter. So here we have Roots, a little something for the naysayers of lo-fi. People look at lo-fi and say that that it's going to be a sandbox, that there's not going to be any real aim to it, that there's not going to be any kind of story campaign. Well, here's the polar opposite of that, where this very beautiful cyberpunk mystery, I call it a game, but We don't know exactly what the gameplay elements are going to be. What we do know is that this is going to be very story driven, and you're going to be in one of these futuristic dystopias trying to solve a mystery. And you know, as much as I think lo-fi looks awesome, I think this looks awesome as well. And this actually a bit more down my alley in terms of the structure.
Yeah, no, this looks really good. Like this gameplay, just everything about it, the way that the assets look, the robots. I mean, it just looks like a really cool place to explore, right?
Yeah, and so many of these games coming now, like from again previously no name developers bringing out what looks like from the promotional material to be one of the better looking PCVR titles we've ever seen. I mean, we got games like this, we've got games like Hubris and Rhythm of the Universe Ionia. We have this whole subgenre of games coming out now that are just eye candy for VR. And I would have any of PCVR's naysayers to check out some of the stuff that's coming from these independent studios and then tell me what you think then, because I think that the value of PCVR is very obvious when you look at something like this.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the things people forget. They think the big companies are the only ones that can put out games. If you know anything about flat gaming, like you look at all some of the amazing games, like are smaller independent titles, and it's no different for VR. It's just that it took a while for a lot of these studios to figure out how to do it, right? And now that that's kind of that groundwork's laid for everybody over the last 5 years, a lot of these studios can come in and focus more on the gameplay and the story and everything, not so much on how to do it because it's already been figured out, right? And it's just going to get better from here. So
Yeah, are you down if this turns out to be more of a story than actual like game is in terms of like action style gameplay? Like, I have a feeling that a lot of this might be dialogue based, and a lot of the game, so to speak, of this is going to be coaxing information out of potential witnesses and suspects.
well, the biggest thing about, everything we've all said that it'd be cool to go in and be the main character of a movie, right? And that's what it would imagine. That it's one thing to go in and be watching it all around you, but if you get to be one of the characters and maybe you're not, it's not action packed, but you're making the decisions on how the story goes, and you're watching it all play, and you get to interact. You get that balance. It could be way better than any game could be, right? So, but it looks like you get to block punches. So it looks like there's some action.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not completely going to be story based, because again, you can see them interacting with a lot of little gadgets and that sort of thing in here. But again, you don't know how much of that's gimmick and how much of it's actually going to impact the world around you.
Yeah.
Um, all I know is that one of the things that really draw me into VR is presence in these different worlds that people craft. And when it comes to stuff like this, it's been in development for years. We have the potential for some very rich, realistic worlds that this is kind of the dream, right? This is the stuff that you can experience in real life. I mean, we don't live in a cyberpunk world. I mean, there are some very, uh, uh, you know, there are places in the world that have this flavor going on without doubt, but this puts you in a whole futuristic scenario that you can only really live out by losing yourself in film or by playing, a really well done VR game. I'm hoping that the visual quality of this game is some kind of indicator of the actual overall quality of it, and I'm really, really looking forward to this. And I have been, I don't know if you remember, but we covered this before, and we've been looking forward to this for some time. And I'm hopeful that this is going to actually release this year.
Yeah. Me too. And I get excited because I saw where one of the choices when you're questioning that robot is you get to tell him to do what you ask. Just do what I'm telling you, bro. I'm gonna be rude. And I'm just gonna go ruthless and just I'm not gonna mess around.
I'll unplug you, bro. Don't mess with me, dude. I know how to kill your. I know how to kill your battery. I'll just enable your microphone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll
Absolutely.
be dead within an hour then.
Yeah.
Anyway, are you a bit concerned at all that this is going to be episodic as opposed to one full experience
It
released in one shot?
depends on how long it is, what the cost is, and how good it
So,
is. If
you know how
it's
you know who you sound like when you say stuff like that?
Anthony, no, I don't know.
Depends on how long it is.
Oh,
My
oh
mom!
yeah. Well, she's very choosy. But I'll tell you what, it really does come down to that. I mean, if it's a good enough experience, a couple hours and it's, $20 and it's, episodic story wise, I mean, that kind of makes it sound like it's going to be more story experience than say, a game or whatever. But I'm not necessarily concerned about that as much as I am concerned about a game coming out that's mediocre. And I'm not saying that I'm concerned about this game, but I would rather have it be episodic than have it not be good. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
it makes more sense to do it if it's a really amazing game or story, to break it up, could be really good. So
Eddie C says no episodic. Been burned too many times with that crap. Yeah. See, here's the thing. I have no problem playing episodic releases, but there is certainly some risk in it, right? Uh, like you mentioned, it could be very short. It could be something that they're breaking up into episodes so that they can really milk your pocketbook for just a little bit of content. So if they're going episodic, they've got to give me 2 hours at a clip. You know what I mean? I don't want anything shorter than that. Then let's say that it is 2 hours and that it's the quality is there. You always run the risk that the reason why they're going episodic with it is that you know that the later parts of the story aren't finished, or even worse, they don't even know where they're going with the story, and you could have years in between episodes. That also is a very real possibility and something that gives you pause. But with regards to this, the the upside, the potential upside is just so great with this one. I feel like I'm going to take the plunge here and give it a shot, just because if it's as good as it could be, then this could be absolutely great.
Ray Delator says it's a bad trend of VR games doing that, but there isn't really that many VR games that does this. Jurassic Park, I mean, Star Wars, I can think of a handful of them that have done it. It just doesn't, it's not that prevalent. I would rather have this than have them come out and say, well, we're going to do early access. And then, you know what I mean? That it's the same thing. You know what I mean? At least if you have an episodic thing, it's going to, there's going to be a beginning and an end of that episode, and it's going to be complete and it's in its own right versus something that just keeps changing. Um, so I don't know. It's catch 22, and a lot of these companies do it this way too because financially, you're funding the next episode. You're giving them the funding to get this part of it out, and then they can pour that into the next episode. So I don't know where they're at financially either. So
Good point. Hussein X. Hussein X says Scraper. Right? Where's episode 2 of Scraper? We've been waiting on that one for a while.
yeah, well, there's a lot of things, and it's just going to be that. I mean, the only thing I can say is if you take a risk on this developer and they don't flesh out a sequel, or it isn't, then you just won't buy their next game. I mean, that's the thing. Just like anything else, we need to hold these developers' feet to the fire. If they burn us with an early access or they burn us with an episodic game, I'm just inclined to not trust them again the next time if something comes around, right? Or if you have a developer like No Man's Sky, Hello Games, that just keeps delivering, or Pistol Whip over and over and over again, when their next game comes out, I'm jumping. I'll buy it without even knowing what it is because I know that they're
Right.
devoted to it. Just our money needs to dictate on every level. If they burn us, then we just won't buy their next project.
There you
So
go. There you go. Yeah. So again, um, interestingly enough, the other things that I mentioned that were this level of quality, Hubris and Rhythm of the Universe Ionia, very beautiful games. I'm pretty sure both of those are episodic as well. So I think that maybe this episodic structure goes hand in hand with the level of polish that they're able to put into it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a very good chance that thing, this game or whatever you want to call it, gets released in full episodic nature, 2 or 3 of them before Lo-Fi even comes out. We'll see.
I think that's a safe bet, and I'm okay with that. I want Blair to deliver on his vision. So
Yeah.
like if that takes him, 3 years, then so be it.
Yeah, absolutely. My money's already in the pot. So,
One more title before we get into the weekly reminders, and we're going to stick with PCVR on this one. Überläufer is an upcoming roguelike dungeon crawler for PCVR that's inspired by the 1981 original Castle Wolfenstein, created by indie studio Think Tank Decoy Software. I love that name, Think Tank Decoy Software. Überläufer, which means defector in German. What? This is defector?
German
Dude,
version.
it's defector. It's German defector. Überläufer puts you in the jackboots of a 1940s Wehrmacht soldier who is imprisoned by the SS for opposing the Nazi regime. With the help of the resistance, you gather items you need to escape as you fight, persuade, and sneak your way out of the procedurally generated dungeon. To escape, you'll have to contend with collecting randomly generated objectives, like taking photographs of specific objects using a 1938 Leica camera. Along the way, you'll also run across things like letters between a former prisoner and his wife, and real leaflets and dossiers published by the German and Austrian resistance. The studio says the player will earn experience points throughout their runs, which can be used to unlock things like perks, weapons, booby traps, and enemy uniforms, which lets you temporarily bypass unnoticed. Überläufer is slated to arrive on PC VR headsets via Steam Early Access sometime in fall 2021, supporting Valve Index, Oculus Rift, and HTC Vive. Ruuts. This game, in more ways than one, is a throwback, and it's nice to see this type of game being properly brought into VR. Now, we have these types of games in VR, but they generally tend to skimp out on the production value and basically put you in a 3D version of a 20-year-old flat game. Not the case here. This is a very good looking PCVR game that's structured like the games of old. And I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool.
I like the fact that it's gives you missions like where you got to go take a picture of something, right, or whatever. I mean, if you're in there's going to be things that they're going to want you to do while you're there. Why are you in this castle, right, or whatever, wherever you're in? I think that's pretty cool. And like Chris Richardson says, any chance to punch a Nazi in the face, and I'm in. That sounds really good, actually. It looks cool. I think it's really cool, and I guess it'll be out how polished it is and how much of the gameplay, how cool it is, right?
Yeah, one of the things that really impressed me a lot about the game is the realism. They're using real leaflets, real dossiers published by the Germans and Austrian resistance. Like, this game is going to have a line of realism like previous games from this genre have not had before. This is something very much new to this type of game.
Yeah, yeah. So it looks pretty good. Definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, and again, we kind of surmise that this year might be the year of cyberpunk. I'm starting to slowly but surely change my mind about that. I think this year might be the year of the roguelike, right? The procedurally animated or generated uh, game, because like it seems like half the games that are coming out now are following the structure. Um, and I never could stand these types of games before, but I'm starting to see the value in the replayability here with these.
Yeah, it's definitely got a good hook, especially if you can go into this whatever every time you go in, it's going to be different. I mean, that's what we want in any game, right? As variety. So that's just really cool.
ADC, I wish Oculus would put out Defector port on Quest 2. They probably could do that if they made it Quest 2 exclusive.
Yeah, they could do it. It's very possible they will, down the road. Let's see.
Underrated game, Defector. Like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those victims of expectation because admittedly they could have done so much more with it than what they did. The dialogue tree and its impact on the direction of the story could have been much more a much bigger influence on the gameplay than it actually turned out to be. But with that said, it's still a great action adventure for VR and a very good production value.
Yep. Agreed.
Anyway, I think that this game looks cool. I think that it looks like something that again is going to provide a high degree of realism and a high degree of replayability. And again, it just goes to show the ongoing value of having PCVR. These types of games don't come typically to console or standalone. This game's coming to Steam because it's easy to publish games on Steam, and it's easy to develop games when you have the limitless resources that a personal computer provides. So, I mean, these types of titles are very much going to be the backbone of PCVR over the next couple of years.
Yep. Absolutely.
Chris Richardson says, Slappy the likey. Yeah, people, Slappy the likey. And he says, you know who else loves a good slap?
My mom!
Oh, yeah, she does.
Rogue gives a solo game replayability. Absolutely. Absolutely. Wolveraza coming through with the good point there. All right, Killing Nazis, a big seller for me. Me as well. And, it's not just that either here. I think this looks pretty good from a visual standpoint and a gameplay standpoint as well. Looks I love shooting stuff, and it really don't matter what it is. I'll shoot it.
I just like the fact that there's more than just running around shooting stuff. You know what I mean? Giving you extra stuff to do on top of that makes it really cool.
Yeah, and for patrons, those of you who are going to be checking out the new enhanced show notes, at the bottom of the Überläufer segment, you'll see a link to the user manual for this game, which is cool, Roots. If you click on that link, it puts you through to a PDF, which it's like an old school video game manual, like back in the day when you used to have the manuals that told you all about the story and the gameplay and everything, the controls. It's like an old school video game manual for this game.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's available right now, even though the game's not out yet. And it's linked in the show notes for those of you who support on Patreon. So check it out.
Cool.
All right, that's going to wrap up this week's gaming news and bring us into the week's reminders. And we're going to kick it off with what's out this week. We have a few titles out this week in VR land. They all have one common theme. They're all coming out for Oculus Quest, but not solely. I mean, we do have one cross plat in here as well. June 17th, Smash Drums coming to us from Podumworks on Oculus Quest App Lab. This is an Oculus Quest exclusive title coming to well, I think it's going to be exclusive. I don't know. I'm going to be real honest. I don't know all the details on this. But I'm hearing good things about this. I'm hoping to have access to it in short order. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you're going to be hearing us talking about this one on a very near episode of the virtual show.
And we may or may not have leather jackets on with drumsticks. Probably not, but
anyway, I got my first taste of the soundtrack to this yesterday, and it seems cool. Seems like my type of music, and that's kind of the foundation any of these types of games really needs to hook me. So the music sounds good, so we'll go from there and let you guys know how it goes.
I was hooked from Anna Byrne from her trailer here, and how good she looks doing it. So
yeah, I'm sold as well. Anyway, coming out this same day. Now, this is according to VR Focus. VR Focus website is where I've got these release dates from. And I'm putting this disclaimer out there because I didn't know we had a release date for Larcenauts yet, Roots. The upcoming multiplayer shooter from Impulse Gear, according to VR Focus, is coming out also on June 17th to Oculus Quest, Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and Valve Index. Roots, this one's sneaking up on us. Did you know this was coming out so soon?
No, I kind of had a feeling it was just because of what some of the people that have been playing the or testing it out now, even though they haven't really said much. But they've been saying that it was coming soon. So, but I didn't think this soon.
Yeah, I didn't cross reference it. I just took VR Focus's word on it. They're generally a reputable source of information. And if they've got it coming out on the 17th, it's probably coming. So, dude, I mean, what is that? That's 4 days from now. This one's going to drop. We're going to play this one.
I would love to play it. The question is, do they have the key on the way? What is the cost on it? Do you know? Probably gonna be
Dude,
what
well,
30,
look,
probably $30 is my guess.
yeah, 30 or 40 probably. I haven't put the key request out. I thought we had more time on this one. Looks like I need to get on the ball here.
Yeah, or they need to be coming to us. No, actually, we'll come to
Yeah.
you. We'll come to you and
Absolutely.
we'll hold our hat in our hand and we'll ask nicely for a key. Yeah, so Eddie C says on the Oculus store it says June 17th.
Yeah, I've just confirmed that myself through Google. Still don't see a price on it. So I guess we'll see. I'm thinking that this one could be as much as $40. I'm hoping it's closer to 30. But we shall see.
Man, when you got an alien with a crop top, I don't think that's $30, bro. That's like $40 minimum. I don't know. It looks
Uh,
good. It looks cool, man. Either way, I do want to try it, but we'll see.
Ray Delator, I like the brawler character, dude. I like the idea of it, but uh, looking at this new footage, it looks like it's all like button press. Like you're not actually like swinging your hands or anything. You're just kind of pointing and pulling the trigger like you have one of those guns with a boxing glove on the end of it. You know what I mean? Um,
I, I
which
kind
I
of
think,
I kind of feel like for realistic gameplay or for it to flow right, you kind of need it to be that way. You know what I mean? Like everything doesn't need to be 1-to-1. You know what I mean? Same thing with using a regular controller. You still have full hand presence, and your hand probably still does have to be up there. But instead, you're hitting a button. I think it'll be more. Everything will be more uniform that way. I think. So
right. Well, and to have this type of character, you're probably right. You probably need that kind of setup. But my whole point is like I'll just grab a different kind of character. I'll just grab somebody who has a gun. You
right.
know what I mean?
Well, and everybody's, it's kind of like Risk of Rain too. As like for one character that you can't stand, somebody else really it fits them perfect, and they thrive at it. It's just trying the different characters and finding what you fits you well, right? So
And Ray Delator says, "What? Just a button? That sucks." Yeah, I haven't confirmed that. This is what it looks like to me. It looks like Path of the Warrior style of controls, which I enjoyed Path of the Warrior, but again, that was a different type of game than this is.
right.
That was kind of a ode to the arcade beat 'em up, so it made sense for that. But we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Not long to wait. 4 days.
Yep. Four long days, dude.
On that very same day, Eternal Starlight releases from White Noise Games, also on Oculus Quest, also on June 17th. Roots, I'm seeing a lot of hype for this one, like not from really reviewers, but um, they're promoting this one heavily. The Oculus Store is, all of the VR media uh, promoting this heavily. This is a space RTS, and notably, not my jam, the space RTS. Not that I've ever tried it in VR, and I could have some profound experience if I would give it a shot. But this just don't look like fun to me, man.
There was a game on the PC VR a while ago, like a year ago or something, that was similar to this, and I think we had access to it, or I did. I tried it. It's not my jam, RTSs in general, but And I've seen people geeking out about this, and I would imagine if you played this type of game flat, and it's what you love, something like this is amazing. Like, oh my god, this is finally in VR. I guarantee people are just gonna eat this up that love this type of game. But I'm kind of like you. I see it, and I just don't. It's too much sound. Looks too technical to me to pour in to figure all this stuff out. But like I said, if you're into this type of game, it looks like it would be phenomenal. So
Yeah, well, I mean, like this type of game looks like it would be just as much fun on a flat screen. Like, I'm sure it looks cool and all in VR, but what do you really get from a game like this being in VR other than a cool vantage point? Like,
well, I mean, this is the thing that, at least from the trailer, just being able to change the scope of the size. You can, make it really big and watch the battles going on, or you can shrink it down and see it from the, really close up. Depends on how good the detail is, right? Could be really cool in that perspective, getting up really close and watching the battles and stuff. I did remember watching that in whatever that game was I was talking about, and that was pretty cool. But other than that, because that's the main thing that we always say about VR. It's something you can't do on a flat screen, is really see the scale of these huge ships. If you make it huge to fight, that'd be about the only thing different, I think.
yeah, so like taking a look in the chat, obviously we are in
Minority.
the minority here on this one. Like everybody's super pumped for this one. Like I don't see it, man, but to each their own. I'm not going to tell you what to play. I mean, well, it's kind of what I do is I come on here and tell you what to play.
Hmm.
But if this is your jam, Mash is saying it's awesome. So maybe it's awesome. I don't know. Again, I admittedly have never played any of these games in VR, and I've been proven wrong time and time again with my what I think I like, and then trying it in VR and finally realizing, oh, it's actually good.
Yeah.
So maybe this is another. Maybe this is the next tower defense routes. Like I enjoyed Jenny and Thaco, and I've never really been a tower defense guy. So who knows?
It's like Demio on crack, Wolveraza says.
Well, who doesn't love crack?
Yeah, you know who else loves crack?
My mom!
Oh yeah, that's why she gets in trouble. She needs to stop.
All right. So before we move on to our next reminder, I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention free stuff and killer deals and the lack thereof last week and again this week. So last week, we pretty much decided on the air that we were going to make free stuff and killer deals into its own show, premiering on Friday. We were going to record it before the virtual show on Wednesday to release it as a recorded, live premiere on Friday. And I'm sure you guys noticed no show on Friday. So here's kind of what happened with that. When we got ready to record this thing on Wednesday, we found out that the Oculus sales do not change over on Tuesday like everybody else. Like the Oculus sales change over on Friday. Um, so then we're posed with the question: do we do another show on Friday? Well, that really entails a lot. That entails us. I mean, well, first of all, if we're not doing it on Wednesday or Sunday, then why aren't we just doing a live stream? Because the only reason we were recording it so was we could release it later. So we had that to deal with. And then do we want to do a third live stream during the week? Something that we've largely tried to avoid doing um, because of how time consuming these tend to be. Anyway, it was a lot for us to figure out this last Friday, and the time really wasn't right for us to discuss it and consider everything. So we decided not to go with it this past week, just to skip it. Now, with that said, we've discussed it today, and I think we're going to give it a try. Or I think what we're going to do going forward is we're going to do 3 live streams a week, and we're going to try to make up for the time that we put into the Friday/Saturday free stuff and killer deals episode by trying to get these other 2 down a little bit shorter. So we're not putting so much time into the first 2 so that we can have a third day. That's the goal. It's what we're going to try. If we can accomplish it, great. If not, we'll just fold it back into the Sunday show. But we're going to try it for a little while. So no free stuff and killer deals today. We will be coming to you live on Friday with a brand new series on our channel, free stuff and killer deals. It will be shorter. We're not going for 2 hours like we do with these other ones. This show will be sub 1 hour, if I have anything to say about it. So that's the goal, and I'm looking forward to it, Roots. I think it makes all the sense in the world for reasons we highlighted last week, and it gives us another chance to hang out with the community, and I'm looking forward to giving it a shot.
Spry guy just ran in the room and said, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! You guys are gonna be burnt out, bro. Like you're gonna burn yourself out, strangers. Don't do it. We'll be okay." You know,
Well,
the big.
I will. I'm sorry. Go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say the biggest thing is going to be scaling back this show, which we failed at today. But and then confining that. Think about it. This show being separate is going to be good for everybody, especially for the person that maybe wants to know what the killer deals are that really doesn't want to listen to us talk for 2 hours. They just want to tune into one episode specifically weekly. This is what's out. So I think it'll help the channel in respect of that as well. So.
Yeah. So, and I would point out that this content that we're putting out on Friday, this is content we were already doing. Like this is stuff we were already doing on Sunday. So we're not really adding content from that perspective. We're just moving it.
Yeah.
So if that turns out to be the case, we'll switch it back. We don't do stuff we don't want to do, and if it turns out to be a pain in the ass, we'll stop doing it. But the trick is going to be shrinking down the other two shows to a shorter time frame, and how to do that, whether that means, well, today was a bit of an outlier because of the upload showcase. We had kind of a unusually large news pull this week. Most weeks we should be able to get in and out a little bit quicker than we did today, and that's certainly the goal, and I think that's going to be the goal with the Wednesday show as well. um, no more of these 4 games and then a topic, like 1 to 2 games and a topic, and we're out, or 3 games and that's it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we're going to work at shortening the time that we put into the first 2 shows so that we can have a third show.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Hopefully,
Spry's got a good point. He said it could be a good springboard for weekend multiplayer games. I thought about that as well. Everybody's already together watching the show, and now let's all move on to this game and check it out. So
yeah, and everybody goes and buys the same cheap game and hops into it. It makes perfect sense.
yeah,
As far as time frame goes, that's going to largely be dictated by Roots's work schedule. I work on both of these days, so I have a very limited window. But we're looking at, I would say, from 8 to 10 o'clock, either on Eastern time. Well, from 7 to 9 o'clock Eastern time on Friday or Saturday, depending on what Roots's work schedule looks like.
yeah. And it's perfect because the sale just started. You're going into the weekend with your paycheck, and now you're going to get to find out what's on sale when you have your money, right? So we're going to spend some more money of your money and put it in the pockets of developers, which they love. So
Speaking of your money, Ray Delator supporting with the $5 donation. Thank you, sir. Hopefully we see you in the chat. Hopefully people like it, Roots. People show up and tune in for the free stuff and killer deals.
yeah, absolutely.
Just a couple quick reminders since we aren't doing free stuff and killer deals. Be sure to get in there, get your free Epic Games game for the week. It was something really cool. I forgot what it was since I didn't do the notes, but they've got a really cool game in there that'll be gone by the time the weekend rolls around. So be sure you get on there and claim it. I would highly suggest anyone who has PlayStation VR, specifically people like Eric who are new to the platform, get on there and check out the huge PSVR sale that's going on right now. Don't wait on that because it could end on Tuesday. So get in there now and get those games while they're cheap.
Control is what VR Spry Guy says.
Yeah, man. Control. I mean, that's an awesome game. And when you talk about the prospects with regards to Vortex, I mean, That's a pretty good free game.
I'm just surprised. There's so many good games now. I can't think of a reason why people don't have Epic Store anymore. Like it's now become ridiculous to hold off, but that's just me.
Anyway, claim your free stuff. We'll get to the killer deals this weekend. I would just remind you guys in our absence this week to check all the sources, right? Look at the Oculus. I know one of their bundles has Res Infinite in it. That should be enough to get your attention up if you don't have that already.
Yep.
Free on the Oculus store right now. Radio G, one of the OG VR racers, free on Oculus Rift store. So go grab that.
Absolutely.
And anyway, that's going to bring us to our final reminder, which is our wish list. We're going to ask you guys, as we always do, to help support the developers right now in real time as we all together go and wish list one of these awesome titles that we talked about today. And Ruuts, I'm leaning toward 9, the Splintered Mind, if it's not already wish listed
Into
on
Hoop.
there.
Into Hoop, bro. Actually, I want to go buy that, but I don't know what's the cost on Into Hoop. Is that going to break my wallet?
I'm not sure. I'm thinking it's like $10 or something, but I don't know.
I just want to know how good the tracking is, the hand tracking. You really intrigued me.
Well, that is the question. I'm intrigued myself. 9, the Splintered Mind Part 1 is on Steam and is now part of my wish list. Be sure to let us know in the comments down below what game you wish listed this week. All right, and I said that was our final reminder, but it's not. We also obviously have our final set of reminders this week and every week, and that is how you can support our channel. And of course, for those of you new to the channel, the easiest way for you to do so is by clicking that big red subscribe button and the bell right next to it to stay up with all of our ever expanding content library here on Virtual Strangers channel. For those of you who have been subscribed for some time and want to do a little something extra, well, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon, where for as little as $3 per month, not per week, not per day, $3 per month gets you access to our weekly show notes, now enhanced with trailers, headline links, and other cool stuff like that manual I linked in there. So, and just another note for you Patreons, the fact that we're doing a separate Free Stuff and Killer Deals show on Friday now is going to be a separate set of show notes that you get weekly, kind of like a deals newsletter for you, so that you can always stay up with what's on sale, even if you can't make it to the live show.
Yeah, absolutely. Wolveraza says, thanks for the shout out on the video. Great stream. Throwing $2 at us. We appreciate it, bro. And like, if you didn't hear it before, come to our Discord, which is Wes's next reminder. So you can come check out the link that Wolveraza posted earlier today to his video. And that's one of the things you get by being a part of the Discord. Everybody's in that community is sharing stuff all the time. And our self promo channel is great to check out other people's content, and not only that, but also let everybody else see what you're working on as well.
Absolutely. Some of the more prominent Discord communities in VR they don't allow stuff like this, which is always mind-boggling to me. Like, you guys think you're the only one that has a channel? Everybody has a channel. Why don't we share our content with one another? Why is that frowned upon? I don't get it.
Yeah, you're holding yourself off from good content. I think some people are a little bit insecure when it comes to that. I mean, obviously, if you're at the Virtual Strangers Discord, you're there for a reason. You're not really competing with us. You're a part of the family, and we want to showcase you. So we appreciate it.
Yeah. And we've always said it from day one. It's not just our channel and our community. It's all of our channel and all of our communities. So like, you guys have just as much right to post stuff on Discord as we do. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Alan Kara checking in at the end of the show says, great show. Been listening while working. Well, how about you getting shit done? Thanks for stopping by and saying hello before we sign off.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, I think that's about it. And with that said, friends, we'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Ruuts, I'm Wes. We'll see you in a couple days. Bye now.
Take it easy.